Welcome to Charisma Check. It's Thursday. We're happy to be here again today. We'll do a quick recap for you, but first of all, we do have an absence. Ranquess is not with us tonight because he's in a show. He's doing a production of Kiss Me Kate, so we wish him well. Happy dress rehearsal and best of luck for the rest of the run. So he's going to miss this session and he'll be missing next Thursday as well. In his stead, representing Ranquess' best interests is the mighty Merkesh, who's in the middle of a crash course on how to sork or sorcering 101. All right.
Firebolt.
So, Firebolt.
Scorching Ray. Witch Bolt.
Lead
Firebolt.
with your face.
Tides of Chaos.
Melt the things.
Twin Spell.
Hurt feelings. Kill as many squirrels and loot their shields.
Yes. The loot montage. His favorite part.
The loot montage. So periodically, this is the beauty of working with performers, is that we do have shows going on, so we might come and go with people, but more or less, I think everybody's here for the most part. We have a couple of, so that'll happen. We'll let you guys know when it does.
Short of using my pen to add an 8, there's no 8 here.
Without further ado, let us jump in with a recap. Last session, our team had made their way to Elventree, the elven city in the trees. And through that, they made their way to the House of the Harp, which is home base of the Harpers, the Harper organization, at least this cell of the Harpers in Elventree. They met various members of the Circle of Nine, pled their case and their intention to mount some kind of rescue attempt, or at least consider mounting some kind of rescue attempt, and hopefully not die in the process, in the effort of securing and extracting some high-value prisoners who were being held there, namely 3 of Ranquess and Leon's mentors from the Shadovar, the Shade Enclave. So they spent the day in Elventree. There was a trade festival in town because there were a number of merchant caravans that had stationed at Elventree. This is what happens in the Elven City. There aren't really a merchant trade hub, but every now and then a group of merchants will come, or a contingent of merchants will come, and they create a big festival around it because it's quite a big deal, and that's happening now in Elventree. So more and more merchants are coming and going. Ranquess was able to connect with the Griffin Master, Master Altair, who handles all things and everything related to griffins in Elventree, and he sent them off on an overhead flight path to get some valuable intel on the staging area of Hillsfar, where they are looking to create this plan. The episode culminated with the adventurers gathering back around at the Swaying Bow Inn, welcomed by their host, Emmerich. And he was... they were catering to them as they were gathering around the table and preparing to plan whatever they're going to present to the Circle of Nine the next morning. So we're going to come back into session as we gather around this old, low wooden table in the Swaying Bow Inn. It's a nice, warm, fire-lit environment. It's relatively quiet, except for a couple of patrons who are in the tavern at the time. And you do feel, it's not off-putting, but there's a slight, you notice there is a slight sway to the entire structure that's being cradled in these ancient limbs of these giant oaks that are kind of holding and creating this really interesting, we'll say typically elven structure. And it's just got a light rock as the wind sways through the branches.
So glad I'm not drunk anymore.
Do I have to roll for seasickness?
No, it's not that aggressive. It's not like you're being swung around by these things, but it's kind of a nice character. It's a soothing element at the moment. Although Leon looks a little bit green. Still not quite over that griffin flight.
Well, it's a good thing that it was Leon and Ranquess that took the griffin flight. Otherwise, Chyna would have played an ocarina version of A Whole New World.
Possibly, yeah. Whatever that is that one of her little musical things?
It's one of the famed songs by the bard Disney.
No, I'm not familiar. Are you familiar with this bard, Chyna? She's so pissed off that anyone even mentioned another bard that she refuses to speak.
It worked!
Only lasts 1 round. And then she's back to you.
DPS harder.
Motor mount. Just kidding, I love you. It's fun to troll my wife when she's not here.
Best time.
I forgot this was live. So, as you gather around the table, Leon and Ranquess start to retrace their overview of Hillsfar to the best of their memory. The image is so vivid in Leon's mind, it's kind of tied to this nausea that he has, that he begins to carve out on an old piece of coal and a large piece of parchment a rough kind of overlay of what the city of Hillsfar looked like from their flyover. So as he's going through, you realize he's kind of stopping. He says, "We've got a pretty good vantage, but I don't know what any of it means, really. We saw merchant areas, people going about their business. There were aerial patrols, I'm certain of that. We were high enough that we couldn't really get much other detail, but
you did spot the arena where they're scheduled to be executed.
I believe so. There was this structure," and he points to the. Do you guys have a copy of that?
5?
He points to 5, which is this oval area in the northwest, and he says, "It has to be. It's the only area that looks staged, like it could be meant to host those types of events, those awful events."
And then you said they had aerial patrols, which means we're not going in via air. Like,
well, is there any way in other than waltzing through the front gates and walking through the middle of the city?
well,
Because I feel like that's a bad
in my
plan, too.
experience, if you can't go above ground or like, in the air, you go underground. So that's, I think, our best bet. Someone had mentioned a system of sewers or canals or an underground city that people used. So access to that, there has to be some.
I'm sure where there is a need, there is always a way.
We'll see. Ranquess will share that while his memory of it, my memory is foggy, but I do remember that we spent some time in there. I had encountered the sewers a couple of times, and this is definitely familiar to you. As an agent of Leerlin, not too long ago, but long enough that your memory of it might be a little bit hazy as well. But there are always little nooks and crannies and things that go overlooked when it comes to smuggling and the refugee system that you and Leerlin and Faerun had worked out. There is a subterranean culture, but at best your memory is just that it's there and it seems to follow the flow of the city to some degree.
And I'm sure there's always changes to keep the security.
Presumably, yeah. Infrastructure changes. You have no idea at this point if in the time between they've improved it or has it stagnated.
Yeah.
Have they created something totally new?
Were these heavily patrolled before?
I'm sorry?
The underground, was it heavily patrolled before, or did people not know them?
No, very few people knew of them. It was always the strictest of confidence.
Roll a history check for me, 5.
History. 11.
You recall that in the areas that you traveled were pretty worn. You know that historically there was some other work, but you don't know where it went or at what stage it might be at.
So I may not be as helpful as I had hoped.
But you do know that the runners for Leerlin used passageways that had something to do with it.
Well, it's a jumping off point anyway, because I don't know anything about them, so you already got a leg up on me.
So I think we can add that information to.
Is there? Wait, hang on. We forgot something very important. Is there food on this large oaken table we're gathered around?
You can always ask Emmerich.
I would like to, raise my hand and stamp the table a couple times and call Emmerich over.
He looks over to you and nods, but something catches his attention at the door as he puts his cup that he's been polishing down on the bar. Oof. My eyes must deceive me. Garrick, in my inn. You old sod, you told me you'd never come all the way up here just to say hi. Hello, Emmerich. Thank you
That's
for
Shorty's
that
guy.
warm welcome. He looks over you. But I'm not here for a pleasure visit. I'm
Sorry,
here to
sorry.
meet with friends. Can I at least interest you in an ale? Then don't be such a tight ass. Not today, Emmerich, but thank you.
I feel like it's
And
going
he-
to turn into a pleasure visit.
The image, the silhouette of Garrick fills the doorway to the swaying bow inn as he closes the bramblewood door behind him and makes his way over to you with a heavy clunk, 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 shing, shing. You hear the armor against his various swords.
Is he wearing
Sitting
spurs?
down. Not quite a competition with you. Good afternoon, pilgrims. No, he sits. He just steps up to the table. He says, "We have come across some information that may be valuable while you are in this process, and I thought it best to inform you now, rather than wait until tomorrow morning. Do you have a moment?"
I believe we can all spare a moment.
He can talk while I'm eating. Emmerich!
Fair point. By all means. I seem to remember, even in my short memory of you, somewhat of a voracious appetite. Let's keep him well fed. Does that mean he's happy?
Yeah, that's what definitely.
Seems less
Once
likely
we
to
get on
stab
the road,
things
it's
when
not
he's
this much
starving.
good food, okay?
Very good. So we'll feed him now and starve him later. Chyna just kind of like stares at him wide-eyed and starts to bat her eyes and flutter, and he just kind of looks at her. Later. Hello again. Yes. We've managed to come up with some early intel. Shortly after our meeting this morning, we had a number of ours do whatever they could to try and procure some of this information. Specifically, there are elements in my memory. I'm not exactly a stranger to Hillsfar. And on thinking of it, we have sent word to some of my connections with the Clerics of Tempest. They make their hold in the Vault of Swords. You do well to remember that. Inside the Hillsfar wall, the Clerics have no love lost for the Red Plumes or the Tower Guard. They despise the great rule of humanity. They don't agree with the exile of non-humans. They, like us, maintain a tenuous peace with Hillsfar, but they are on the inside. In a moment of challenge, you may be able to seek refuge with them. If we find a connection through there, keep them in mind. And he says, I see you were able to check in with Master Ultair and get an idea of our area of operation.
Yes.
He puts a big, thick finger on the table, right where you would see the number 9 on your map.
Okay.
This is the Vault of Swords. Commit it to memory, but be wary. The Thayan Enclave is nearby as well. And he moves his finger down to where you would see the number 6 on that map. Thay is no friend of ours, and the Red Wizards are more dangerous than anything you've likely experienced thus far. Keep your heads down. Do not trifle with them. They are best avoided at all costs. Beyond that, Tyreen and Tayun managed to do a small sortie and suss out the area surrounding Hillsfar. Unfortunately, because of the way the city is built, the fortification that it is, they were only able to discern that patrols have been stepped up significantly. They seem to have added a number of the elite soldiers to these outward scouting parties, and they are looking aggressively for you. Be aware of this. If you can stay smart, then you will stay alive. Finally, because of this increase in Red Plume activity around Elventree, I've informed the Akvalar to be on their guard. The Akvalar is our citizen militia. You may know that outside of the House of Harp, there are not many well-armed individuals around. Don't let that fool you. Citizens of Elventree are ferocious, and they will defend their home at all costs. You know this. They will be our eyes and ears within Elventree, and for a small perimeter outside, they will give us sanctuary. Beyond that, I'll leave it to you. And we'll wait to see what tomorrow morning brings. The entire circle has responded they will be in attendance tomorrow morning, and they're eager to hear your plan. So I'll bid you my farewell. And as he goes to step away from the table, Chyna reaches out and touches his hand and says, "My lady." She says, she just kind of leans in and she looks at you and smiles. She whispers something in his ear. "I really must attend to matters. Are you certain?" She says, "It'll just be a moment. But there is something that I need to discuss with you. Alone." "All right." Garrick stands up, puts his hand on the hilt of his sword, says, "I take your leave." Chyna steps up and says, "If you'll excuse us for a moment, we won't be long." And they leave up the stairs, upwards, up to the rooms.
No, Ranquess.
Just as Emmerich,
You can't cast Big B's, like, eavesdropping ear.
point blank fireball, roll on surge table. As Emmerich just shows up now with a couple of bowls of hearty-looking, steaming broth filled with roast taters, chunks of meat. The scent immediately snaps you out of the exchange between Chyna and Garrick as the threat of a home-cooked meal is far more enticing. Possibly. He lays one each down in front of you, and in the center of the table, a large, hot, fresh loaf of short breads.
He said bread. There's bread and stew, and yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Now, I don't know what you like, but, well, this is my mom's own recipe, so if you don't like it, I don't want to hear about it. I'll send another round to you shortly.
Thank you.
I reach into my pouch and, like, flip out a gold coin on my thumb. Flip! Right towards him and continue, like, you know.
With reflexes that belie his large nature, he snatches it out of the air. He says, "Much obliged."
Keep it coming.
"Not a problem. You're in the right place." And he goes back to the bar, leaving you with
Hangover style.
I don't have actual stew,
No.
unfortunately.
So it seems like there
Where's the immersion?
is one
Chat,
area
send
that
us
we could
stew.
try to-
Don't send us stew. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What are you thinking, Fud?
Well, according to this, I'm most familiar with the arena area. But so much has changed, I'm sure. With the increased patrols, I would also consider waiting till dark, after sunset, most likely.
Well, it's a big town, right? Hillsfar is not a small. It's a big town.
It's quite large.
So with that many people inside a town that size, they got to get rid of the waste somehow. It's got to go somewhere. So it either goes into the sewers or people take it out in carts. Either way, what I suggest, our entry point is where the waste comes out. Sorry. Operation
No
Fifth Base. Okay. We go in where stuff normally comes out. That's what I'm saying.
Our entry point is where the waste comes
Yeah.
out. Things heard on charisma check.
It's just the way it worked out. It wasn't planned.
You
that
were in
way.
it before you even knew.
You know.
I do certainly think it would be prudent to travel at night. We also need to take quite a bit of care on the roads getting there. I was already almost recognized once trying to get here. Trying to get anywhere near the walls of Hillsfar.
He can wear a cloak, and I can wear a cloak, and he can wear a cloak. What are we gonna do about Shorty over there?
Well, she can disguise herself as my child, as we've done. But what are we going to do about me?
Unless there's a band of
Well,
other weird...
We need. Oh my God! I know what you need. You need a makeover.
Makeover.
Yeah. Like she needs to change how she looks, because right now they're looking for her.
You suddenly have a
Well, they're
flashback of
involved.
Chyna trying to get you to party and loosen up and getting you drunk. And that's the
Does
type
a
of
makeover involve any kind of alcohol whatsoever? Or me making a fool of myself in front of my elders?
As a well-traveled gentleman warrior, I would say I have no idea.
Excellent. Well, perhaps I should just remove any indication of my holy affiliation.
How about we get a complete
And
change
stop
of
there.
clothing here?
So
We haven't
I
actually
pull
left
one of
Elventree
the.
yet, have we?
No, you're
We haven't
right.
even showered
You're
ourselves.
dead center.
This is true.
So I pull one of the daggers from my boot and spin it around my finger and be like, "We could cut your hair."
But it's so long and pretty.
You can wear it somehow very differently than before. Change of clothing, maybe even don't know, some rest, we could look very different than we do now.
Well, aren't you a master of disguise?
Well, that's what I'm saying, but, you still need something to work with.
Well, we could change the color of her hair,
Correct.
cut her hair, hide her hair in some way. Do it. I don't know how you guys do.
And what
hair
changes
stuff.
will you be making?
To myself?
Yeah.
I'll wear a cloak.
A cloak.
Yeah, I'll put the hood
So
up.
why can't you wear a cloak?
Well, what do you want me to do? Like a ponytail? So what do
I
I
don't
do?
know. I'm just saying, we can find disguises for everyone.
Forgive me, but don't we think that 4 cloaked figures and a child are going to draw just about as much attention as possible? Sonic, go to bed.
Traveling at night? You know, I don't know.
Well, all that aside,
I think
how
our
do we
best
get
approach is by water.
Well, it doesn't look like there's water. Unless the sewers flow out into the.
Which is what my original thought must have been.
Oops, I screwed this up.
But we don't. So we don't know if the water from the sewers flows out to the bay. We'd have to go check that out.
That's correct. You're not aware at the moment of any kind of ejection from the city at this point.
So under cover of night, we get a boat and we go check it out.
Yeah, do some reconnaissance.
Yeah. And if it happens to work out, we break in.
I feel like that might be our best.
And then back to plan A.
Yeah.
Going
There's
the
always
waste
plan
comes
A.
out? Or was
Oh.
that stab things?
No, that's plan
A
that's
is always
plan B.
violence.
Plan B. Plan A is violence.
Yes.
Plan A is always violence.
How foolish of me.
Ranquess speaks up. He says, "I also have tricks that might see us close to Hillsfar, or might be able to assist us in entering undercover. As you recall, Faerun working with him to fabricate documents and create a backstory for Constance Goodroot in the Goodroot estate, in which you massaged her title of ownership. Indeed, you saw some of Ranquess's work in that too, and together you guys seem to have a pretty good knack of creating false identities and developing that type of subterfuge."
Oh, we should quit adventuring and you guys should start counterfeiting full time. Charisma check in
You should
Bermuda.
switch over this way.
Oh.
There we go. Yeah.
Sorry, where are we now?
I believe we were discussing the getting ready to get a boat under the
Yeah.
cover of night and heading out.
Can we
It's
access?
daytime. It's morning. You said, right?
No, right now you guys are getting into late evening.
Okay.
So you arrived, met with the Council of Nine and the Harper Council at the House of the Harp, and then you had like a
The
New Year's
festival.
Day
They did the
exposition.
Griffin thing. You got drunk off your ass. I stood at a temple for a couple hours, and then we came back.
Yes.
And you found some darts.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
great.
fully
That's,
loaded.
that's great. That's awesome. He shows up with like a bandolier of brightly colored purple darts.
Oh, nothing so gaudy.
Okay.
Yes, nicely right here, close to the chest.
Okay, just like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay. So late evening. So what we should do is plan to go now.
Go now where? Right now we have to figure out a plan because we're meeting with the Circle of Nine in the morning.
Well, I think if we, how far are we from Hillsfar? Like if
We're in
I look,
Elventree.
Yeah, you're in Elventree. It's probably about
So that
a
distance
6
there
to
would
7
be
hour ride.
6 to
Probably about a hard. It's about a 7-8 hour hard ride.
Okay,
That's
so
if you were to take the road on horseback straight to the gates.
I need like a string of horses, otherwise we wouldn't make it back in time.
Exactly.
Okay, so then we're not going there now.
Yeah.
What would make sense now is to take that long rest at the inn overnight. In the
Have a
morning,
shower? Be lovely.
Fresh
a
clothing.
bath would be good, and I
Yes.
think I was talking about that earlier.
I will dress more casually in the mornings when perhaps slightly less conspicuous.
Adventurers! I'm so blessed to find you here. You look up as Alhil and Duval. You both recognize him as the bard you met in the trade landing.
Oh, yes.
This blonde, elven chap, very pretty, dainty, fine-looking, with a lute strapped over his shoulder, fine silks and linens, shows up. I'm looking for the lovely Miss Bigly. Have you seen her? I thought for sure she'd be with you.
You must have the wrong inn. I'm sorry.
Says China prefers the company of other musicians when she sleeps?
I am one of the greatest musicians. I seek her company too.
But I
We
think
played together just now.
you told her
Do
to
you
meet
remember?
her. I do, and you told her to meet you in a field. Or
Yes, and she hasn't come. And he sits down next to you and pulls your bowl of stew over and starts dunking shortbread into it. I am so full of woe.
as he tries to reach for her bowl and I intercede and be like, that's hers.
You have no
And
trouble smacking his hands away.
Slide it back that way.
All right. Sorry, I'm so disheveled.
I'm quite certain that she went in that direction, right?
Wait, what do you mean? Last I saw, she was going upstairs with that big guy.
What big guy?
It's best you don't know.
Well, I assure you, and I told Miss Bigly as much too, my interests are strictly professional.
Oh,
I have no ulterior motives.
Don't worry, kiddo. I'm sure there's more than enough room on that one's dance card.
Isn't she one of the finest dancers? And bards, musicians? I simply must have some time to share trade secrets with her, old tales, and just now you hear the grrr of heavy bootsteps coming down the stairs. And you hear, "It will be done, my lady. You needn't worry. You are safe in Elventree. I told you this, and I intend to stay true to my word." And you see Garrick work his way back down the stairs.
There you go, Ears. That was quick.
I'm sorry, have I missed something?
No, not to my knowledge.
Is this the big man you mentioned?
Yeah, that would be him.
That's the guy.
He is quite large.
He's
Garrick
strapping.
looks you over and looks Al Halen over. It's like, I really have to return to the house. I look forward to seeing you in the morning. Still.
Thank you. For your
Rest
help.
well.
You as
I
well.
think you'll need it.
I would agree.
He nods to Emmerich on the way out. Emmerich just kind of nods back like, see you in a year, I guess. And Garrick makes his way out into the darkness of night. So that's her type.
I
Peculiar.
everything's her type, honestly.
Ah,
This is true.
so there is hope for a professional exchange.
Well, why don't you go up to her room and give her the old knock?
I'll do that very thing. And he stands up and he gathers himself.
You are a shit disturber.
My friends, and he lightly makes his way jauntily up the stairs.
That poor sod doesn't have the slightest idea what he's about to get into.
2 gold says Chyna kicks him down the stairs.
I'm not taking that bet, I lose.
Sure.
Okay, so back to what we were talking about before this little dude got in the way. We haven't taken a long rest yet,
No.
because I still am somewhat injured.
I believe that is not in question.
We certainly need to take a rest.
Yes.
So the plan is, we need to do some more reconnaissance, and we're obviously going in underground. Or
Alright,
through the
we're fine
main
with that.
gate. But
Yes.
Well, I believe that's our only course of action at this point.
Very well.
I would suggest perhaps we ask the Circle of Nine for any less traveled ways to get towards the city, perhaps without attracting all of them notice before we even get there.
It's always good to have
or we use some of these bards and hide in plain sight.
more than one plan is always beneficial. We can present them all to the Circle of Night tomorrow.
Sounds like a good idea. Now, did we work out the accommodations last time, or am I
We did.
shacking up with?
As far as I know, we have the
China
same
made
room.
arrangements and
Yes.
covered the tab for everyone.
The arrangements are.
Okay.
As far as I know.
So you head on up, and I'll head on up later, and awkwardly walk into the same room that you're already in. All right.
There would be an empty room. I will be staying by my parents.
A lot of great plans being made tonight.
Very well.
Chyna Bigly,
We're all good?
troublemaker.
Yes.
Yeah, I think at this point, taking that long rest makes the most sense.
Have a good night, gentlemen.
And to you as
I
well.
suppose I'll see you later.
I'm still gonna stay in the tap room for a while, listening to any rumors I can hear from any of the other patrons,
Sure.
and still trying to eat as much as I can without literally exploding.
Okay, fair enough. And you both?
I'm going to go up to the room to wash and get out of my armor, which is stanky and
Okay.
Yeah, get a little bit cleaned up, look presentable.
Sure.
And I'm going to try to visit all the familiar places from here till home before taking a refreshing wash and get ready for bed.
Sounds good. As you make your way up stairs, you your eyes follow Tamasin. She says her goodnights. You see Alhail and Duval come back down the stairs, looking a little bit defeated. He says, "You'll put in a good word for me, won't you?" She wouldn't answer, but I left her a message.
She's had a very long day. I'll let her know that you came calling.
Please do. I really am her biggest fan.
I
played with her just now.
I saw it.
Do you?
It was lovely. It was
Yes.
beautiful. I'll spread the word about how well you played with her.
That would be very kind. And I will share the tale of the Knight of Saloon and her vicious, steadfast, incredible way. I'll work on it. I need my tools. Good night. And he excuses himself and rushes down the stairs as you continue on.
Bye.
You check in with Emmerich. He assures you that he'll send a chambermaid up to draw you a hot basin and all the necessary luxuries that they can afford at the Swing Valley so that you can enjoy a soothing hot bath or wash. It's like a low basin. They don't have standalone soaker tubs like we have today.
So standard with a sponge. It's so luxurious.
Arcane showers. Coming to you next. As you kind of collect your things and you get ready to go kind of scout and refamiliarize with yourself with your longtime home, I'm just going to dart over to Merkesh quickly. As you sit, you're wolfing down this stew. Emmerich brings you over another bowl. Plenty more where that came from, my friend. You just let us know what the belly needs. We'll do our best. He keeps your mug full as well. There's a maid who's kind of working the floor also. And as you kind of trace the room, you see a pretty healthy mix of different races, mainly elves, maybe 6 or 7 other people, and there are a couple of dwarves at a table who seem to look a little bit out of place. They're probably the only 2 dwarves you've seen, and they're just chugging and carrying on as dwarves do, in Scottish accents, obviously. And as you're listening, you hear them talk about trade and how Elventree is a nice reprieve from the road, the dank, dingy, hunter-gatherer, the harvest gathering type. They're working in mines and excavation, and this is the only real time they get to unwind away from their trade bosses. And they're sitting there. They look uniformed, and they seem to be carrying on pretty well with Emmerich. And they're talking about ale and the quality of the ale here and their distribution network. You also see a couple of other minstrels who are not playing at the moment. There's one human female in a corner who's just kind of listing away on a pan flute. The other minstrels just seem to be, they're actors, They're getting drunk and laughing a lot and being way louder than everyone else in the tavern.
I would not know anything
Can we
about that.
method that?
Yeah, we don't know people like that at all.
So, as you start to gather what you can, they're talking a little bit about some of the other trade merchants who've come through and some of the new ones who've shown up since your last trip down to the trade landing. These guys, you learn through listening in that they're involved somewhere in the ale, like they distribute and import-export ales on fine wines, which ties in with Elventree's vast reputation for being a masterful creator and manufacturer of fine spirits and wines. And a couple of minstrels, you hear them talking about that they came from the Stop. They just keep referring to as the Stop, which seems to be some kind of hub of activity. And another one says you catch a nugget of a conversation about finding their way to Elventree by following the light from the lighthouse. And Leon says, "I believe we saw that lighthouse. It's not far from here. There is a lighthouse. I suppose that's what they're talking about." Just getting an idea of some of the landmarks, points of interest around the area.
Lighthouse. There could be some useful thing we can get at the lighthouse, maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of talking to myself.
I should continue to entertain yourself.
Ranquess and Leon is still there, but I'm not talking
We've had
about
a few
them.
mugs by now. Stew is lining your belly enough to make you feel good about pounding ale.
Got that warm soup belly. Oh yeah.
The fun is you step out into the brisk night air now. It's very calm. You hear the warm, welcoming sounds of the forests, evening birds or nocturnal birds, and some fluttering happening through the upper branches of Elventree. It just smells and feels like home, and it really calms you in a way that you've not felt since returning to Elventree. You start to think about your old haunts. There's you were looking for a new quarterstaff. You remember that the Gold Cave was run by Admiral Sweetwater. Wonder if he's still the proprietor there, but seemed to have his finger on all the great woodcrafters in Elventree. Might be good to check in with him if you were looking for something like that. You recall spending time with your friends at the Tree Spirits, which is like a little kind of pub-like tavern that's nestled in between two giant oaks, carved out right into the trunk, but somehow managing to maintain the health of the trees, as most of your kin are quite good at, other wood elves and such. You put your hand on the gnarled exterior of the swaying bough and just ground yourself for a moment. And then there's the listening tree, and you wonder why you never thought about bringing that to Chyna's attention. This huge, beautiful, natural auditorium nestled in the lower branches, also in the center of Elventree, and just all these memories suddenly come flooding back to you when you transition from being a visitor in your own home to starting to feel like, this is what I remember, this is what it felt like.
Actually, if there is time in the evening and before they've closed, I wouldn't mind visiting Sweetwater.
Sure. As you make your way towards the Gold Cave, down back on the ground level, the sounds of merriment from the trade landing, fires now illuminating the ground. The fires that were always burning when you landed here now suddenly just creating this beautiful orange glow, and in it this hug-like ambiance around the trade landing, and the troubadours and minstrels down here are in full swing. It's like the time has not even passed. They're just in permanent party mode. As you kind of make your way through, you pass a couple of people. Whoa, hi, have a good evening. You know, like the colors and silks and the trades happening, and the sound of coin and the smell of ale and wine, all kind of blending together to create this atmosphere as you make your way to the Gold Cave. And you see a half-elven gentleman just kind of leaning up against the archway of this cave, looking on to the partygoers. And you recognize him as Admiral Sweetwater.
Greetings, Emerald. Is it? Isn't it?
It is. Yes. Yeah.
Fine.
Greetings. Beautiful evening for a festival, I suppose.
I would agree. There's always something you can celebrate if you look hard enough.
In Elventree, I celebrate every day, my friend.
I do miss that.
Do I know you?
Oh, I lived here for most of my life. Fine. Well, you would remember me as Fane.
Oh, Fane!
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. It hasn't been that long.
No.
So many faces and dealings, and welcome
You weren't
home.
expecting to see me.
Forgive
Thank
me.
you. Yeah, not a problem.
That's embarrassing for me.
Oh, no, that's right. Well, you know what? You can make it up to me.
Okay.
I can't stay. I'm not in Elventree for too long, but I wouldn't mind, a new quarterstaff before I go. I keep calling this the wrong thing, and my feeling is that maybe I'm not as connected to this weapon as I thought I was.
Well, the weapon and the master must form that bond in order to strike true and be at your best. So
Right.
we can certainly help you with that, as you know.
That'd be amazing.
Woodworking's still quite a speciality of ours.
I remember, yes. Actually, anyone of note was always talking about your wares.
Well, let's take a look. Come on
Yeah.
in, come on in. And
Oh,
he
that's awesome.
walks
Great
you
to
in
see
through
you.
the cave. It opens up into this wide circle. It's dome-like. The walls are rough rock, but there's a nice warmth in here. A smell of cedar in the air. There is a small fire pit dug out in the floor, and a walkway around it leading to a large curved table. Behind that, you see anything you can think of that could possibly be made from wood.
Yeah.
There are planks and your kind of manufacturing tools, and then there are weaponry like quarterstaffs, clubs, tonfa, nunchaku on the wall. Just like everything you can imagine. And you kind of take a moment to look at Nickelstaff and then look at these beautifully, expertly crafted, and they not only look like they're made of solid iron, but they are just beautifully carved, and you can almost feel it in your hands from looking at it, and just imagine the balance that goes with these things and the amount of care and effort that goes into the crafting. He walks behind the table and says, "Have a look around. Do you want to see anything? Touch, feel. You've got to feel good about your choice."
This is true. Yes. Well, maybe you can help me, point me into the direction. I'm looking for something actually a little shorter than a quarterstaff. I want something maybe like a 3/4 staff, if there is such a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know what I'm going to be running into. I'm heading back into, I'm heading into dangerous waters, and I want to make sure I'm equipped for any sort of, foe to speak of.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking for a really dense, hard wood, but still rather light. Silvered on either end would be ideal.
Huh. You see, we don't have anything silvered prepared, but it wouldn't be a far stretch to create that treatment. Of course, I wouldn't be that great of a woodworker if I couldn't satisfy all of your woodworking
This is
needs.
true.
We do have a couple with solid birch
Let me,
core.
go ahead, please.
Yeah, a couple of safts that we could shorten easily.
Yeah.
Solid birch core. It's no problem to press these into a lathe. I can shorten it. Can't make it longer, but we can shorten it for you, balance it, temper it. Yeah, I think we could do something nice for you.
Okay. You know what? That might sound like a long-term goal for the silvering. Let me start off with something I can use, for the next week or so.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd love to see some of those birch staffs if you have.
Okay. He reaches behind him without looking, and he grabs one off the wall and tosses it over the counter at you. Make a dexterity check. You're already rolling it.
Oh man. 10.
That's all right. As it comes across, you catch it in stride over the in the arc that it comes over the counter. Just deftly spin it around. It feels like it's almost spinning itself. It's coming back to you, and it feels pretty good. It might be a little bit decorative because the etching and the carving around it seems like it's maybe a little bit more ceremonial than what you're used to.
No, I want something a little bit more functional.
Okay. Hey, here's a dark cherry oak. He pulls this really rich. It's so dark with brown tones that it's almost red. It's like a dark mahogany.
Yeah.
And he pulls it off the wall, and he just hands this one to you. He says, "That is a beauty. Function. It's gorgeous.
It is. What did you say the wood is?
It's a dark cherry oak, and we've treated and tempered that one heavily. She won't break on you. Not before you do."
And I've come close a few times. Yeah.
Well, it's my job to stay in business by keeping you guys alive. So hopefully this will help with that.
I would appreciate every effort. Wow. Is it too early to speak of price?
Well, it's never too early to speak of price, my friend. You have to keep the fire burning. This one, it's the only one I have in the shop. Came in at about 200 gold, but, well, you're an old friend and a local. And I know your parents, your mother would kill me if I ever set you out of here with something other than the best weaponry I have available, so, why don't we start you out with 75? Come back and see me about that silvered option, and you promise me that you'll get that done right here at the Gold Cave. I'll let you walk with that guy for 75 gold.
How about this? I take it out for a test. Well, you may never see me again. However, hold on to this. It's my flute. It's my lucky flute, actually.
Huh. That's
How about
gorgeous.
when I return, I'll pay you double that amount, and we will talk about the silver.
This is goldenwood.
Yeah.
He holds it up to the light. That is beautiful. Where did you get such a gorgeous piece.
It was a gift from someone very special, so please don't lose it. But I'd like to put that up, because I do not have 75 gold. But I will have 150 on my return.
It's cracked.
Can you do anything about that?
I would be honored to try.
Well, that would be a personal favor to me. Thank you.
I can't argue. I think you're doing me a favor. Even a woodworker of my caliber doesn't get the opportunity to fashion goldwood very often, so... that's a deal, my man.
Awesome. You don't know how
safe.
important that is to me.
All right, I want
thank
you to come back for
appreciate
this.
it. For sure, I will.
Cool. Is there anything else that I can help you with?
Not at present.
Okay.
But it's good to know I have a friend.
Absolutely. Without question.
Awesome.
Well, we better see you soon then.
You will.
All right.
Peace on to you.
And to you. Just kind of...
So I spin it around as
This
walking home,
has
getting
that
the feel for it.
same, like, you're walking out and you're kind of taking a wide circle around the merriment now because you don't want to accidentally kill somebody. That's a reasonable goal. As you twirl this thing and you kind of work it against the ground, it's got this sheen, this almost gloss, but it feels thick in your hands. It feels like it's not slippery. It's, oh my god.
Yeah, no worries. I heard it. I was like,
I was like,
None of us were going to acknowledge it.
The record skipped there. Ignore
Yeah.
that.
No
We're
one,
back.
it's slide, baby.
Yeah.
So it's got a good grip. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like you're gonna lose control of it. It has that same effect the other one has, where when you spin it, it almost seems to come back to you, and it's like doing the work, which allows you to tune in and manage work with your art form, as
Alright.
opposed to feeling like you're working with a staff, which is
I hope
something
it's
you
still
were
covered in
missing
nickel.
with nickel staff. So nickel staff never gave you that. You had
Yeah.
to work to make nickel staff work.
Mhm.
This one is just effortless.
now I have to divine what is your name.
Fair
I have
enough.
to name it. That will be our true test. See if we are connected.
So you perch on a rock for a moment. You're looking.
But you
over
got a
this
new
thing.
staff. You got to name it.
As you look past the staff, you see the background.
If you
of
had
the
one, you'd understand.
Flames licking into the sky, sending sparks in the night air, and minstrels dancing around the fire. These multicolored covers of these caravans as the merchants who've arrived in trade landing just kind of get settled into the party. And Tamasin, as you finally, after long last, you've hung your armor. You've polished at least around the emblem of Saloon to make sure that the tribute to your goddess is well kept, and you're just having what you feel like is the first time you've ever watched. It's so brilliant and glorious. It is the first time in about 5 days, so it's just bliss, heavenly.
So I'm going to. I'm happy now. So I'm going to spend some time just going through my my vestments and my armor to see if there's any damage that I can repair. To get myself set. I'm just wearing what I would normally wear underneath all the armor, which is breeches and a simple pale blue blouse. Cross-legged on the bed, going through things, tearing up some tears in my robes that are looking much, much worse for wear than they were when I set out. But I've also cleaned those, so they're a little better than they were. And I've got my holy symbol, which I'm not wearing currently, but it has been quite lovingly polished and is beside me on the bed. And I'm going through my book of prayers and reflections given my visit to the temple to maintain my connection with the goddess for as long as possible.
Okay. As you close your eyes and you consider you go through the ritual motions of reconnecting with your deity, you do feel now that there's this familiar warmth that was starting to wane before you arrived in Elventree, and certainly before your experience at the Silver Shadow Cave the night before, or earlier that day rather. And as you tune in, you close your eyes and you feel Saloon's light. You reach out to it, and you're welcomed. You feel this beckoning. It's familiar. The strength. The goddess is with you. And then suddenly there's a flash, almost like a flash goes off and just distracts you, but you maintain your meditation. You see it again from another area, and it starts to... These flashes start to form together, almost like this hazy, gauze-like lens, and you see long hair, and you feel like your muscles suddenly are aching, and you feel this bitter, chill cold. Suddenly, you feel like something wet on your face and cold. It's snow. And it's like it's happening to you, but you're picturing this person. And this person looks up, but before her eyes become clear to you, it disappears, and you're left with only the soft glow of Saloon's warmth. So you open your eyes for a second and just shake off the vision that you had.
I'm going to... Do I have something to write with?
You still have parchment and some coal there.
I'm going to write down as fast as I can everything that I just saw, because I feel like it's important and that I should probably start keeping track of these things that I see.
Okay, perfect.
So I'm going to do that.
So as accurately as you can, you realize now, especially after the conversation with Shasta, the importance that these messages may have, and you start to try and articulate it. As brief and as furious as it was, and confusing as it is for you, you managed to jot down a couple of items, and we'll get back to what those are in just a moment as we return to Merkesh. Most of the patrons have left the tavern area now, back out to the night air as the night settles in over. Had your fill, huh? I hope you're better at the end of a blade than you are at the end of a fork.
And when he says that, I'm just gonna flick a dagger out of my boot and just like flick it end over end to leave it quivering next to him on the wall.
Okay, roll an attack.
Oh my god, please.
Critically failed.
That is an 11.
You murder.
11 versus the wall.
Alright, he goes, cool. He looks at you, he's like, okay, confirmed. He picks it up and he throws it back at you.
I'm gonna catch it.
It goes totally widened into his own ceiling. He's like, too many years behind the bar, I guess. Not enough years on the line. Sorry about that.
I'm gonna want that back.
Yeah, I'll get it for you. And he kind of lumbers over. He's about 1.5 feet over you, and he steps up on the stairs and leans over the rail and reaches, and pulls it out, and he goes to hand it to you, blade first, and he lays it on the table. He's like, I guess I should know my place by now.
I'm gonna pick it up with one of those little finger flourishes where it dances around my fingers before I put it away.
All right, I get it. You're pretty awesome. He goes back behind the bar.
It's true.
Well, I put this on Chyna's tab then.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And actually, give me a bottle of wine and put that on the tab too.
Sounds good to me.
I grab a bottle of wine and I head on up to bed.
It's a murky pear-shaped looking bottle with some wicker basing around it. No label, but
No label. That's a good year.
that's right. So old, it predates labels. And you make your way up to your room, ready to settle in for the evening.
May or may not also be my room.
As you do, Chyna's door opens a crack. And she kind of looks at you and says, turning in for the evening then.
Why did that guy say something about keeping you safe in Elventree?
What guy?
Good night, Chyna. And I go
and she just makes her way out. She starts to head down the stairs and goes to leave the tavern as you see her just kind of make her way into the night air.
Merkesh has no time for that.
That's brilliant. All right. And as you all wind down, you kind of make your setting. Leon has found his room. As you enter the room, Tamasin is freshly bathed. Her arm is hung. She's, I guess, in bed.
So the tub
surrounded by parchment.
Is the tub to wash in the room, or is it in a different room?
It's in the room. It's a basin on a small round wooden pedestal.
I have refreshment for you. Should I leave?
Well, I'm like, I shrug, and I'm like, okay, so I take off my armor, and shirtless, I do the thing required to change the water that's in the basin.
Okay.
And then I wash.
Sure. You dump it out the window. Let's say there's like a makeshift crafted window out of these brambles. Dump it out. There's still water left in a pitcher next to the basin. It's warm, It's not hot. It's not steaming hot, but it's warm enough to get by.
Just want to get the muck out of my hair and my beard.
Yep. The muck slowly descends into the basin, turning it into a brown, but it leaves your hair as you begin to clean and refresh.
So I look back over my shoulder and flash you a winning smile and say, "You feel like washing my back?"
I think
Wink,
you can
wink.
handle that all on your own.
I
I
shrug.
see for much more complicated
I
maneuvers
shrug
than
and
that.
continue to bathe alone as I've been doing all these many years of campaigning. So Romery. I'm so
Alright.
Romery.
And as finally the night deepens and you all kind of find your lodging, what's your sleeping arrangement? Because there's one bed in this room.
She can have the bed. I will.
This was actually played out. There's one bed in every room. They're kind of cookie cutter.
I give Drunky make drunk pants over
I'm
there.
not drunk anymore.
Yeah, okay, you can have the bed, and I will sleep on the floor. Next to all my weapons that are carefully laid out and oiled
Yeah.
and polished and sharpened.
Sounds like a good deal.
I'm quite content to give you the blanket if you'd like.
I'm busy sharpening and oiling weapons at this point.
just
I'm like,
gonna-
I'll get to it.
I'll fold it up nicely and just lay it beside me and be like, for later. And go
A couple
back.
of candles just keeping us off late.
Appreciate it.
Alright.
Sharpen, sharpen,
I'm assuming
sharpen.
this has like a quilt and then like a sheet.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It has like a duvet, like a feather stuffed duvet,
So
and,
that
a,
I've
and
given you the duvet.
a
Okay.
pillow that's not particular.
I wouldn't have been able to sleep on the bed anyway. Hospital corners make Merkesh insane.
Just keep going.
You nod off pretty quickly. You're not long out of that meditative state, and you find it pretty quickly as Tamasin closes her eyes. You stare at the old these vines that seem to come together to create and form the ceiling for a moment before you close your eyes and welcome sleep to take you. Fine.
Yes.
Still considering this beautiful new red mahogany-like cherry oakwood staff. As the night draws further, even the sounds from the trade landing are starting to wane now. Some of the bonfires are still out, some of them have been left to die.
You reminded me that one of my other memorabilia places was nearby from here.
Sorry?
You said that another place was reminiscent for me.
Yes, yeah. So there was the Tree Spirits, which is a popular
I wouldn't
tavern.
mind taking a little nightcap before bed.
Sure. As you walk up to the Tree Spirits is across a bridge and up a little footpath that curves around another great oak. It's like a half level above the swaying bough, not far off. And as you step in, there's just one female elven female behind the bar. She seems to be kind of tidying up. Her hair is long red with some blonde, like golden blonde streaks throughout. It's very fair looking. She looks up and she says, "These are Faerun.
Yeah.
Wow! Oh my goodness! What brings you back?"
Just passing through. Thought I could visit the family and some friends and the old places before. Well, I don't know how long before I'm back again.
Oh well, I'm certainly glad you chose us on your
glad,
list of stops.
It's been a while.
Yeah, well, I'm closing up, but I'd be happy to get you a drink. It's no trouble.
Just one little, drink to end the day.
Sure. What's
Yeah.
your pleasure?
You know what? I haven't had some of that elven ale that you used to serve. What was it like that summer? We had the great
The ale.
Yes.
It's a sprinkled wheat. I remember it. I remember it.
Yeah. Okay.
There was you and a couple of others who used to always come through.
Oh,
Once in a while. You were traveling a lot, though.
I was. Yeah.
From the city, if I remember.
Yeah. Back and forth.
Well, you're still alive to talk about it, so that's worth a Sprite wheat ale.
That'd be
on the house.
amazing.
She turns around, she pulls up one cask. It's about this big, and puts it on the table. She's like, "This is all that's left. That entire strain." Yeah.
Wow.
Now's as good a reason to crack it as any, I suppose.
I agree.
She taps it, pours you a nice healthy mug, and slides it across.
Thank you.
You let me know if that's off, though. I don't know how well it keeps.
Oh, I know. Hold on, wait. It is just as I remembered.
Tastes like old times.
I am transported, my dear.
Well, I'm
transported.
happy. That's worth the cost of me alone. That's on the house.
Well, thank you so very much. How have you been? It's been a while.
Good. Yeah. A little, the days pass a little more quickly these days, I guess. It's been okay. We still have a lot of trade activity. We have the trade festivals fairly regularly. A lot of people coming through.
Anyone passing through Hillsfar? Do you know?
Passing through Hillsfar?
Yeah, like on the way to Ulash or anything like that.
Oh. You mean, do I know of anyone passing through Hillsfar? Not personally, but, I mean, these traders come from all over the place. The minstrels, the bards, who knows where they come from. They don't really call a place home, it seems.
No, yeah. They're always on the go so much that they're rarely in one place.
Yeah. What about you? Honestly, you spend that kind of time in and around Hillsfar, I don't know if I would expect to see you.
No. Yeah. And I'm going again. Can you believe this? Wow.
What brings you back there, other than your own insanity?
There is some unfinished business I have back there that I think I'll have a better chance in the next little bit to accomplish what I want. But,
I guess there's always a bit of unfinished business.
Yeah, there is.
I hope you see it through safely, fam.
I hope so too. Cheers.
Cheers. Duck back to Chyna. Chat hype for Chyna. Welcome.
I know
Bigly in the house.
Bigly in the house.
Ranquess would have burst through the wall and given the whole plan away at that point. Like,
Okay. Oh, good. Good.
Today we have a tin whistle.
The new title of today's episode
Tamasin
is
says
Domestic
something
Violence on Air.
I feel as though something terrible.
I know what's happening.
So, the goal... Yeah, it just updated. It just updated. Thanks, y'all. Thanks for the follow. I did see that. We'll get to those on the break, which is coming up very shortly as well. So, thanks for all your follows. Thanks for joining us in chat. Bear with us a quick second. So, Chyna, we had a discussion before about the events that just happened that you guys saw. We've just arrived at the point where you have left the Swaying Bow Inn. Before that, you see a note on the ground, and you know what that note reads.
No, I never opened it.
It says, "Dearest Miss Chyna," and it doesn't have a voice, but you know who it's from.
Do.
So I'll do it in Al Halen's voice.
Of course, Al.
Your wonderful friends saw me to your doorstep. The days have been too long since last we spoke. There haven't been any.
No, it's just been today.
But I still await your arrival. Strictly professional in large calligraphy. Please do see me. I have a matter of utmost bard-type importance.
Well,
Most sincerely, A.D.B.
ADV. Oh, it's shortened now. ADV.
Maybe thinks you're cool like that.
Well,
Accurate.
I was kind.
She was kind after
loves-
having
he
left,
loves
and
me.
now she's left with that note in hand, and she has left the Swaying Bow Inn. Into the night air as it washes over you. It's refreshing.
Yes.
You're still in pretty good repair. Your silks are in good order.
Yes.
Your hair is still braided.
Excellent. I got a couple of flowers nearby, put them in my hair. Just to look nice. I just feel bad for this child, Bard. So I'll go briefly visit him before I go and see Zook.
Okay. You begrudgingly you pluck a couple of
Not a bad
little
person.
red and purple flowers out of a vine that's creeping up the side of the Swaying Bow Inn and tuck it behind your braid. There's no mirror, so you just kind of feel it. But begrudgingly, you make your way back down to the forest floor. Excuse me, and down to the trade landing, and it's starting to wind down a little bit. There's still a pretty vibrant air about the area, and you recall the little kind of alcove where Al Halen pointed out to you exactly, and you make your way towards it. There are a couple of caves that flank this area, creating almost like a little walkway. And as you walk in through this little yawning walkthrough, you you see a fairly welcoming campsite. There is a tent in the center, a little bit further to the back. There's a fire that's just burning with the last licks of life, taking some of the chill out of the night air. Around it, you see a log in the center, and there's a knapsack propped up against a tree near this big tent. And then there's this other almost teepee-like tent that sits next to it.
Al. I need to make some sound.
Yes!
That worked.
Hello! Welcome! Just a moment. I'll be right with you.
Okay, I only really have a moment, so just stopping by briefly in kindness.
I'm so glad you could come.
Oh.
I've been waiting for you.
I know, I got your note.
I just need another second. I'll be right there.
Alright, I will wait a little bit longer, but I do have some important business to do. I'm only here for so long.
Okay. So you just hear silence. See, it's coming from the tent, like in the just past the fire.
Alright, I go up to the tent and I open the door. Tents. I go in and I.
Hello!
Hello.
Welcome! I'm so glad you could join me.
Yes. What's he wearing?
As you walk closer towards the tent. Just a moment. I'll be right there.
Naked.
Can I check something? This seems off.
I only need a moment. I'm so glad you could join me.
Okay, he's repeating the same thing
Something
over
weird's
and
happening.
over.
Roll a
Can I make-
perception check.
Is it a trap? Did you just walk into a trap by yourself?
None of us are
Perception?
witty, but all of our
Yep.
spidey senses are tingling.
16.
And suddenly, as you realize he's repeating himself, and then the second line, identical to the former, and the third line, identical. It dawns on you. This is a trap.
Can I slowly start backing out?
You can roll initiative.
Oh shit!
Now you're in luck because no one is there to back you up at all.
No one is there to back
Nobody
you up.
even
You're
knows
on
where
your
he
own.
is.
You're on your own.
21.
Just as Chyna comes to the stark realization that she may very well have walked into a trap of some sort, or certainly some odd circumstance.
I throw my fife at them.
No, not the fight. We just bought that.
Damn it.
Let's clear this guy. We can get rid of all the fog.
Jesus.
All of them?
All the fog.
Oh, I shouldn't have been nice!
What's up with Chyna?
China, you went by yourself, China.
And I was just trying to be kind. I really didn't.
And Chyna
This
Bigly
gets you.
by the tent.
Says the cleric.
Put Chyna by the tent. Perfect.
You had it ready!
And without any warning, you hear, actually...
You see what I rolled?
Oh,
21 initiative.
I had a 21.
okay. You see a shimmer on either side of the tent as these visions begin to appear on flanking this tent. But almost as soon as they appear, you hear as two sets of arrows come darting out through the night sky from the trees towards these images and stick into them. Now what becomes apparent to you are these dark Duergar dwarves flanking the town, now with two arrow quills sticking out of their chests. You take a moment to look over your shoulder and you see, hidden in the trees, two Akvalar archers. And this relates back to
they're
Garrick
in these
telling you
trees?
that the conversation you had.
With
Like
the
those trees up there?
So Garrick has stationed a couple of Akbar. Yep, perfect. To actually keep an eye on Chyna.
Yes, he did.
As they just kind of break everybody out of the moment, but you steal yourself realizing that this is happening.
Okay.
And the Duergar in response, they look up to the night sky and they begin to flex. You've seen this before. Their muscles pulse and begin to pound.
Right.
And they enlarge.
Yes.
It's where the Duergar always get all big and hard when you're around.
And they turn, they with two large hands, they swat the shafts of these arrows, cracking them off into short stubs, still protruding from their chests, and they turn their attention directly towards you. But your first attack.
Are they within threatening
What do
range
you
of
do?
China already?
Alright.
Or is there a space between them and China?
am going. Oh, okay. I'm going to cast.
It is so
Can
many.
I
It's
cast
a room.
Thunder?
I don't know.
Or maybe. Hold on 1 second.
Quickly.
Okay. I cast Shatter.
Okay.
I'm going to cast
This
Shatter.
does.
It is,
Since you always
it
still
erupts
have
from a
to
point
use
of
it.
my choice within range. It's going to erupt right from me.
Mhm.
Each creature in a 10-foot radius sphere centered on that point must make a Constitution saving throw, and a creature takes 3d8 thunder damage on a failed save or half as much.
Okay. So what's the save? Sorry.
It's Constitution.
What's your DC?
Oh, it's 12, I believe? Yes.
And it's what, an action?
It's a spell. It's a second level spell.
Is it an action to cast?
One
it?
action.
Oh, yeah, one action. Sorry. Yes.
Alright. Okay. How does it look when you cast it?
All right, I am going, and it's a loud, painful noise. So I pull out my fife and I go.
Wow, okay. And as the air around these two shapes blister and form, you almost see like glass shards forming out of the air and splitting out from Chyna's center of being, and it just flies in all areas. One saves, two saves. And what's your DC?
12.
Okay. Now you see these two. These two take the shards, they fly towards them, and like thousands of darts flying through the night air. And now you see shimmering behind them as the darts fly into two other forms around the tent. As
Did
they
they save
reel
or
from the
fail?
damage.
Did they save or fail?
3 failed. 3 saved, 1 failed.
Okay, but they still take damage. I haven't
Yes.
rolled yet.
Yes.
Okay.
As the other two
Okay.
shimmering forms now come into being and begin to grow just like the other two. And you're now surrounded by 4
One gnome versus
Duergar.
And these ones are
Someone
like
give
over
me
here.
one more d8.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Sorry, and let's get the. If you can throw the other one. Yeah, just kind of like a 4-point around here.
Okay.
Like so. Okay.
Gotcha.
Good so. Thank you.
All right.
What was the range of the explosion?
It's around. Oh, jeez. I just closed
Okay,
it.
don't
Did
worry
you?
Shatter is a 10-foot radius.
10-foot radius around me.
Okay.
Yes. So. All right. All right.
Yeah.
Only
Which
one
makes
fail.
a 20-foot diameter. Thanks for playing, Billy.
13. So then the others would take 6.
Half to 6.
Yes.
Round down half is.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is rounded
So
down.
6.
So 13 and 6.
16.
God damn. My
Oh,
notes.
sorry. It was 13, right?
Yes. My notes right now are Garrett will not
They're
sleep
like-
with me yet, and goddamn Al,
Oh, yeah, my house is trash. Actually, no.
I didn't mess up anything. I know.
Oh no, no! I was about to say you might have missed it, but that was definitely not enough
I
time.
forgot.
Oh,
I
no.
forgot to keep my eye on the board, which is what I should have done. But I didn't do that. But that's okay. Sorry, Bard.
And
Where's
6.
Not together.
Sorry, guys. Math is happening.
Science.
My math check. Alright, as D1, one of these gray guys is D1 for me, Joe?
We're gonna call this one D1,
This
I
one
think
is
it has
No,
a
they've got
number.
or that one who has the number 1 on
No,
him.
it's one of these guys. One of
This
these.
guy. This is number 1.
Okay.
okay.
Reels back from the pain. You see just form like lines of blood appearing all over his face, all over his body as he turns towards you and lifts a heavy war pick and swings down. And that's an 18 without mods, so I guess that's a hit.
Yes.
Okay.
I really
And
don't
they're-
have that many hit points. I'm a fucking bard.
They're enlarged right now, so they double their damage.
Oh, good.
dice.
So I'm dead.
No, you're fine.
Oh no, I'm
Stop
dead.
that.
You're fine. You got
That's
cover.
8 damage.
I'm half dead.
Okay, half dead is not dead. Relax, it happens.
Yes.
You got this.
There is combat in the game of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, there is. I'm just saying.
Be aware. All right,
Before you walk
Um,
into a trap.
number 1. So this.
But now we
this
know when we
guy-
find out Halen.
This guy moves
Through the
this
tent?
this way around the tent,
Okay.
and attempts to grab you.
Grapple
With
the
an
tail.
athletics check.
After.
Make an acrobatics or athletics, whichever you choose, to resist.
Oh, well,
Yeah, definitely
acrobatics then.
acrobatics.
And he has
15.
advantage because he's enlarged. Nope, that was spared him a 1. You rolled a 15,
I did.
and his is a 14 plus 2, so he just manages. So this other one comes up behind you, and you smell the stench of decay and earth as his massive arms wrap around you.
Elves in the trees, shoot some more fucking arrows!
When it's our turn, we will! Just as one knocks a bow and lets 2 more lightning-fast arrows fly through the night air towards his Duergar.
Garrett!
I need somebody.
One hits, the other critically misses. So one goes flying off in the night air, the other one comes square in the chest of...
You were waiting for this, weren't you, DM? You were waiting for this.
I should have accompanied you. I shouldn't have let you go alone.
It's alright.
But you said words to me in the hallway.
I know I did.
That
I
didn't
know
work
what I
for me.
said.
Yeah.
I listened. It's what I would have said.
I was like, yeah, okay.
As one arrow strikes true and laces into this guy, taking his attention from you as now you see the shaft of this fine elvish arrow sticking out of his right shoulder. And that brings us to this gentleman right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's grabbed.
Who
I am.
who says, we have, he mumbles something guttural, and he turns around and he starts walking towards this guy. You'll have an opportunity attack against him, John.
Alright.
Even though you're
Even
grappled.
though I'm grappled, so what would I entail?
What do you want to do? What do you want to attempt?
I would like to
I have my
attempt...
player's handbook back.
Did I take it?
Thank you, yeah.
Sorry. Alright, I would like to... I'm going to trying to stab him with my rapier as he's going.
Sure.
Okay. So, that's a 15.
That is a miss. As you have your rapier out and you awkwardly swing under the grasp of this Duergar, but the tip of your rapier just whiffs in the night air as he continues his pursuit. And when he gets to, he's gonna move here, and you see him pull a mighty, rough-looking but large javelin, and he launches it into the trees at this perched elven archer and hits him for
KO!
And he dies.
Aren't there many elves around? Are we not in a safe space?
As you see this javelin enter the trees, and you just hear
He will have
and fails his dexterity.
You will help.
Oh no, you're taking fall damage
And
too,
you just hear
sucker.
falling of
Jesus.
breaking of branches as the body of this elven falls, and the javelin falls to the ground next to him, as does his longbow, and he just raises to his feet slowly.
I'm up.
dramatic.
Yeah.
And at that moment, you hear a blood-curdling scream from the woods.
Scary.
As this dark form just emerges through the woods, long sword high in hand, glinting off the moonlight, as Gareth emerges from the woods.
Garrett.
And comes down hard in the center of all these. Crash, crash, crash. Hard in the center of these Duergar, and his sword digs deep, bites deep into the earth, and kicks soot and spark from the fire, flaming all around, distracting the Duergar, but otherwise not making his mark. This elf lines up, looks at his comrade who's fallen to the ground, lines up 2 more arrows, a double arrow in the bow, and lets them loose towards the group.
Garrett cannot die. Not slept.
And they both fly over the top. They can't quite get a vantage point as they miss their marks as well.
Okay, when he dies, you have an hour-and-a-half window where rigor mortis sets in.
Oh. Chyna doesn't do that.
Number 1, this guy. Number 1.
Number
turns
1
to
who
Garrick
is
now.
going over.
He yells something at the one who is grappling Chyna, which is this guy, right?
Yep.
He yells something to him, guttural in a language you don't understand, and then he turns his attention to Garrick, and he pulls his shield, and he faces off with Garrick, swings with his mighty war pick, and hits the dirt, kicking spray of soil up around. Garrick reels, but he holds his sword high, close to his head, and prepares for another attack. And that brings us back to you,
You guys
Chyna.
are doing a great job on the ground.
Am I still grappled?
You are grappled.
So can I try and attack him with my rapier?
You can try to break out of the grapple.
Okay, yes, let me try to break out.
Acrobatics or athletics.
Okay,
which was?
acrobatics it is. That's a 19.
16, he gets advantage because he's large. 16, 18. You barely manage to find a nook in his elbow where he's grabbing as he starts to pull you away, and you get one arm underneath and you just raise your arms high above your head, popping down at his feet. Look up, you realize you're free. You still have movement, but that's your action, and a bonus action if you have one available to you. So if you're doing dual wielding, you can use your offhand.
I don't have to.
You can only
No,
use
but
your
if
only
you're-
use your offhand as a result of using your main hand attack.
Yes,
Or dual.
but with grapple, you can use one. You use one of the attacks.
I agree.
If it's an attack, it counts as one of the attacks. So you can still swing with your bonus action with your dagger or move away.
Can I not swing with my rapier?
No, because your rapier is the main hand attack, and as a grapple, it's an attack. And if you have an attack that allows you a multiple attack, like a dual wield, it just takes one of them.
All right. Well,
I'll allow you to use the rapier if you want to still say it's your other attack that you fight the grapple with.
All right.
Go
Run,
ahead.
Chyna, run.
16.
16
Yes.
is a hit.
Great. Oh, now I know what it is. All right. It is 8. Or did you not add your bonus? Yes, you do.
Yes.
Yes.
You,
Yeah.
no,
8.
yes,
Eight.
you do, because it's your main hand attack.
8.
8? Okay, and that's on the one that had you grappled?
Yes, it is.
Alright. As you land on a knee, he kind of looks surprised that you actually managed to get away, and you answer with a quick spike of your rapier as you jab it just under his rib. And he stumbles back as you draw a small stream of blood down his ribs, but he turns back to you and his friend, he calls out to his friend, something guttural again in this ancient Underdark language. And number 1...
Yep, number one's ready to swing.
This is number 1, right?
Yep.
Okay. Turns back towards you and goes to make another grab for you.
Jesus.
And that's a natural 20.
Oh, I think you.
So
You still roll.
Yeah, roll to see if you can
Wait.
hit a 20.
Wait, what am I?
You just need to roll a
Acrobatics.
Acrobatics.
Doesn't
And you
matter.
roll a 20.
20. You need to roll a 20.
I didn't. What? Plus my bonus.
Nope, natural
No,
20.
I know.
Natural 20 or GTFO. Again, this one lumbers forward and kind of pushes past. He pushes past Garrick.
Out of my way.
As Garrick adjusts his stance and he wraps his arms around you, even tighter this time. Forcing your hands down by your side and your rapier kind of pointing off in an odd direction. And then he pulls you
Pulls me.
half his movement speed, which will be
15?
all of its 10 actually.
So,
So 2 blocks out off this way, back into the woods.
2 opportunity attack from
Garrick
Garrick, though,
is not about to allow it easily, and he swings around. He whips around like a coiled viper with his longsword, and cuts deep into the side of the Durgar that's making his way away from you. That's 8 plus 3 is 11. And you feel this tensile, tight grip around you, this iron grip, as you're moving forward, just go limp.
Excellent.
As you feel yourself drop to the ground, and this towering body now falling towards you. Make a dexterity check.
I will.
As Garrick pulls his
Where's my
sword
deck?
free of the side of
Why
this
am I-
Struagar,
Ugh.
sending a fan of blood covering the trees nearby.
Why am I black?
What was
Oh,
your
there
dex?
it is.
Roll.
No, I find it. I found it. That is a 22.
Okay, and you definitely managed to roll out of the way as this Struagar crashes into the ground, blood seeping into the soil below, and his body begins to shrink. As you roll up to your knee and you stand ready for your next action.
I'm like, okay, let's go.
Elf 3, I think, is this guy.
Correct.
Up now, charges forward into this guy. If we can move him toe to toe. For the Akvalar! And he raises his short sword. He pulls his short sword and takes a swing at him. It's 18. Wow. All my NPCs are rolling better than I could ever hope to. That's 22.
Oh, excellent.
As his short sword bites.
I like how he gets
Into
all his
this
good rolls out
raging
of his system on
Drugar.
Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Great.
And which one is this? That's D2.
Is it 2? I don't know. It's a jerk.
You know, you could tell the elves to call your friends. Because, like, we could...
We're fine.
Alright.
We're doing fine.
All right, and that brings us to him. This
Someone would have to leave then, that means.
reeling from the short sword blow, this Drugar kind of smacks it aside and follows up with his own war pick, an attack of his own on this elf who's clutching his side now, but he misses gloriously. And stumbles forward. Let's move him forward a little bit, back on. Still in melee range. As he stumbles right past and looks up. Looks around wildly as though he's lost his mark.
Elven fighting is much like a capoeira.
Garrick pulls his sword free of the Drugar that he's just destroyed. Looks at you, notices that you're safe and sound, and immediately wheels from the ground up at this Drugar next to him. And just this Drugar falls back a bit as his sword cuts through clean air, but sending this Drugar on his guard a little bit. This elf lets loose another flurry of arrows through the night air. The first one flies high over the group, and the second follows suit, and he can't seem to get a vantage. He now starts to make his way down from the tree. And that brings us to... I don't need the laser to point at things in front of my face. I call that force a habit. These two now are flanking Garrick, and he looks at this mighty human fighter now heaving with this dead look intent on his eyes, and he raises a similar war pick and attacks Garrick and hits him.
Man, y'all should have worn full plate today, Garrick.
For 10 damage.
Walking around in plate mail thinking he's a
Maximum
boss.
damage.
Wait, what?
Garrick's getting rocked.
I'm not okay.
As this other Drugar comes down with this big warhammer now, this big fat massive steel, and straight in Garrick's chest. Garrick gets his sword hand up and his other hand free, and he kind of heaves under the blow, but he pushes it back, and you see a little stream of blood trickle down his mouth now. And that brings us to you, Chyna.
I am not okay with that. That is not alright. Okay, I think I can cast Cloud of Daggers without hitting Garrick if I believe so? Can I double check?
Let me check.
Cloud of Dagger. That's a new one.
Yes.
Cloud of Daggers.
Yes.
You fool!
A cube, 5 feet on each side. And a cube, 5 feet on each side. Center on a point and choosing a range.
Right? So I can do that without it hitting Garrick if I cast it like right behind those two guys.
It's
right
just,
there.
it's one square.
Yeah, so good. So I'm gonna cast it so it hits those two guys around Garrick, but not me. And it's I believe it's yes.
Sorry, where is it? Where are you putting it?
I'm putting it like right behind them so that it doesn't hit him, but it hits both of them.
Here?
No, like in the there.
Like this square
Yeah.
here.
Okay, it won't hit anything in that square.
What?
It's
Why?
only a 5 foot.
But in this square,
Yeah.
it gets both of them.
Yeah.
These guys are, well, okay, we'll say they're large. We'll say that's eclipsing that area. Okay, we'll allow it.
Okay.
It's 1 5 foot cube,
Yes.
so anything would have to be in that cube. These guys aren't really in it because they're not really centered on their cubes here.
All right.
But we'll allow it for color because it's cool.
Okay.
All right, what happens when you cast this? You focus on your target area
Yes.
between the Drugar.
And I'm going to be like, don't you dare kill that man! I haven't bedded him yet!
Garrett kind of looks up and he's like, all right. And you see these shimmering, spinning blades start to form in the air, almost like blender-like, just whirring in midair. And the Drugar kind of look at them, but not quickly enough to avoid their sting.
Alright.
But the damage takes place on their turn.
Alright. That's
So,
it.
yeah, roll
But
your...
I still roll my 4d4. I'm going to take your 2.
All the
Yep.
Oh. That's 12.
Proper.
Okay.
Proper.
It is this one's turn now.
Step into the blender.
Okay.
Yes. get blended by my
The
daggers.
two look at each other and they barely get a chance to catch each other's eyes through this cloud of whirring blades until they realize, but before they can make a scream, you see this just like as they start to cut and fly, blood starts flying
Yes,
everywhere,
blood!
massacring. Their faces become scratched, and they fall forward into the blades, just shredding them as if though they had fallen through this
Right.
Don't
razor
attack
wire
men
I
as they
like.
fall dead on the ground. These two are.
Yes!
2 in 1.
Gotcha, Garrick. I wink at him and give him a splash and a smile.
You told me you needed protection. And he runs at, Elf, no, it's Elf3 actually.
In the name
is
of
this
love,
Elf3?
I get rowdy.
Somebody give me the number. What's the number?
This
is Elf 3.
is 2.
Okay. 3 turns around.
He's the one with the short sword.
He's just gonna come, he's gonna duck low and stab upwards with his short sword. And that's a natural 20. God damn it.
What do you mean, goddammit?
Well,
no!
never when I'm playing. I'm kind of playing. Yeah, this is all. Yeah, we did it, guys. Okay. It's 2d6.
The DM feels pain when monsters die.
4. It's kind of a weak crit, but 6 damage. Dealing 6 damage to him.
That is a very weak crit. Super. Good job!
He finds a good weak link between this Duragar's rough leather armor and pushes through, but it cuts off to the side, just taking a lick of blood as he withdraws his short swords from the side of this Duragar. And that brings us to Garrick, who charges forward 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35.
He's gonna throw something?
He pulls a crossbow as he sheathes his sword and pulls a large dark iron crossbow from around his back. Takes a quick knee, lines up his shot.
Go to
Fires 2 bolts and it's a natural 20. Oh my goodness.
He did.
Would you like one of my die?
No, this is okay.
This is good.
11,
Monsters could be getting those 20s too.
Yes, but they didn't, so.
It's 12 damage. And as he's looking at this elf reeling from the blow, suddenly a large iron bolt just bursts forth, peering
Yes!
through his forehead, spraying the elf with blood. The elf looks a little shaken as the large body falls. Hits the ground with a solid thud. And all is quiet.
I bet you 5 gold we never hear about this attack.
Alright.
Gareth runs
They're
over,
just gonna have, like,
puts a
rock
hand on the
paper,
elf's shoulder and
scissors.
checks in with him. He's going to check with his men.
I run over to Garrick.
Okay.
You're hurt.
No worse for wear. How about you? You weren't kidding.
No, I really wasn't.
Why are they after you? This is a lot of weight and deep in the middle of Elventree.
I didn't think they'd be able to come in here.
They shouldn't have been. That's what bothers me.
It's just... You need some help. You need to get well. You're you're bleeding.
I'll be fine.
I can help I can bandage you.
The council will see me safely.
I can also see you safely. I appreciate you taking and protecting me here.
After what you told me at the inn, I wouldn't have let you go far from my sight. I told you, you will be safe in Elventree. That is true, that is my word. I will see it so. But I would feel uncomfortable with any less than 2 or 3 of my men watching you, if this is what we're up against.
Yes.
You have to start being straight with me, though. Why would they be so intent on assaulting a bard? What is their aim?
Perhaps we can talk about this in a more private setting rather than outside. I'll tell you what you need to know, but we do need to do this more in private.
I'll escort you back to the swaying bow myself.
Excellent.
You get cleaned up. Shield this. This needs to be unknown to anyone. The 2 elves look. They call up to the woods. A couple more elves. By the time they go about searching the campsite.
This was a trap, though. I was coming here out of kindness to visit this young bard who I'd been playing with earlier, and I noticed it was a loop. I'm thinking we should potentially check on his tent, if he's alive or even here.
Great. Search the campsite thoroughly. Leave no stone unturned, and report to me on everything you find. Let's see you back to the inn. I don't want to see you out here much longer. He shakes off his cloak, sheathes his weapons. He says, "You're okay to walk.
Yes.
You're more or less untouched."
Well,
Except for the big
I
ass
just-
bruise that took
I have
half your hit
half my
points.
damage.
Okay, so then he says, "Let's get you cleaned up. You need the attention more than I do." He starts to guide you back. So we'll take the long way. And he
Alright.
begins to escort you back to
Bloody
Swing Bow
sweaty.
Inn.
Okay.
On the way, he reminds you, he says, "Get rested. We have a big day in the morning. We can discuss this after." He said, "For tonight," he said, "much to my chagrin, I think I'll keep Emmerich company in the Swing Bow. I'll make my evening in the tavern. So I'll be in the common room,
Wonderful.
not far from you,
Excellent.
if you need me."
I may need you.
As he walks you back to the Swing Bow Inn, he sees you up the stairs. He says, "I'm not moving from this position."
Alright.
And he sits in the table, next to a table, and he takes out his long sword and he just kind of planks it in the floor next to him as Emmerich walks over, and they begin to chat.
Might feel safer if you're like in my room with me. No chance of
Chyna.
anyone.
Get some sleep.
Alright. Alright. I go upstairs.
No means no.
As you, the final member, turn in, were you still at the tavern, or were you turning in?
Oh no, Cheers was end of bar, heading home.
Alright, good bar sequence. So everybody tunes in. As the night settles over the group, you prepare to present your plan to the Council of Nine, which will come up immediately after a very short break. As we come back into session, as the evening sounds are turning to birds chirping, you start to see light illuminating the walls of the Swing Bow Inn as your eyes begin to open and awaken to the light of day. You start to hear some motion in the tavern below as they begin to make ready their business for the day. And you awake, turning your attention to the fact that you have a very important meeting
Yes.
and some outstanding business from the night before.
Do I have time to pull Garrick aside and tell him to
Go
have the
downstairs?
chat? Yes, I go downstairs before anyone else is down there. Anyone else is up.
Okay, roll a perception check.
Perception. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. That's an 18.
Okay. Everyone else roll a d20. Please.
It's natural 15.
Just
13.
like a straight
Okay. Yeah, just
5.
okay. Alright. You manage to creep out quickly, close the door quietly before anyone else rises for the day. You make your way down to the stairs and you see Garrick leaning up against a rough-hewn oak bench with his long sword in hand, staring out the door. As he hears you, he looks over his shoulder, looks up at you on the stairs. Good morning.
Good morning.
I
Perhaps
hope you were able to get some sleep.
I was. I'm assuming you did not get much rest last night.
I was fairly restless.
I am.
Emmerich made it as comfortable as he could, but it gave me some time to think about our meeting today.
I am sorry.
No apologies necessary. It is my duty to make sure that all citizens in Elventree's welcome are safe. I'm troubled by what happened last night, and I feel like I owe you an apology.
Oh no, not at all. You were there. You killed some of those Druid guards in a very manly, lovely fashion.
Well, it's just...
It was
That's what the
quite
terror-
a sight to see you fight, though. I do have to say, I thought we were quite a good team.
I might be inclined to think so. You fight like a savage.
Well, you know, when something I care about is in danger, it just brings out something extra in me.
Roll a persuasion check. Flirt check with advantage. No, with advantage.
What? You just said with advantage.
Okay, roll with advantage. Watch your words.
No, they're both terrible. It was only at 11.
Your words are very kind. night.
Oh, yes.
But I assure you, it's just part of my duty. I am committed to that duty.
Yes. Feel nothing.
What do you mean I feel tired?
All right.
I feel sore.
Yes.
I'm happy that you're okay. The rest of you start to kind of collect your belongings, suit up, go about your day. What does that look like for you two as you wake up in a room together?
Sort of the way it would look if we woke up in a tunnel.
So
I've slept next to him before.
I'm not the lightest of sleepers. I'm not like saying I'm a heavy sleeper, but you know, when she gets up, that's when I will wake up and we'll start to scramble to assemble all my weapons that I spent so much time lovingly sharpening and oiling.
You've had a restful night. Your keen senses kick in as you hear rustling, and almost like a built-in alarm system.
Oh god, yes.
As your meditation, your elven meditation brings you out, and you see Tamasin start to move, and you quickly suit up. You guys make your motions while you're there.
Would we be getting fully armored by now? Or would we be...
Whatever
I
you
would
like.
be.
Yes.
I always wear I wear leather armor. It's like my clothes.
Your choice.
I'd prefer to not get fully armored yet.
Damn it,
It's
Tamasin.
nice to be a little bit lighter.
Sure.
though.
You actually be a lady for a change and wear some regular clothes.
Briefly.
Get out of your splint mail, ring mail,
Scale mail?
Maybe it's some
Third
kind of
time's a
mail.
charm.
It's heavy.
One of the mails.
Yes.
And fine as you awaken to greet the day.
Yes.
Had a great evening catching up with some old friends.
Yes. I bid farewell to Mum and Dad and ask them if they have anything that they would wish to bestow to me in the perilous time ahead.
Okay, so you're making your way out to your parents' place. Oh, sorry,
What was
that's where
that?
you
That's
stayed.
where I
at your
slept.
parents'
Yeah, yeah.
Right, gotcha. Okay, so you're bringing me back. Your mother has already left. She left
Right.
just before first light to get prepared and brought up to speed. She was absent for the first meeting at the Circle of Nine, so she's gone to get it. Hemo greets you though with a hearty meal, just some elven breads, cheeses, fruits and nuts. Just trying to keep it light. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm no cook like your mother, but
No, this is
I
fine.
do as best as I can. I guess this is it, son. See me before you go, though, if you can. I know you have a lot of pressing matters to attend to.
Yeah. Very well. I'll definitely swing by before I go.
Excellent.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks again.
Pressing Garrick.
All right.
He kind of stands up and he says, I really need to make my way to the house. I need to make my way to the house so we can prepare for our meeting.
Would you prefer we have the conversation about why you were protecting me later?
Perhaps after the council meets. I can't be late for that, but I do need some more information from you.
Oh, right.
Of course. Shall you meet me in my room after the council then?
Let's
It's a
discuss
trap.
afterwards. How's that?
It's a trap. Again, it's a trap for my Gina.
It's a trap. It's a trap for your China.
Gina's China.
Again, things heard on charisma check. You start that hashtag. Heard on charisma check. As Garrett kind of makes his way out, Emmerich's not there today, but some of his barmaids and servant staff are seeing to you as you kind of make your way down to the common room. And fine, are you making your way to the tavern
Yes.
as well?
I
Alright,
will
good.
join them.
You see Fine emerge from the door, backlit by this beautiful, clear, sunlit day. As you
get to
collect
drink.
once again in the common room.
Ranquess is
Sorry,
already
Val.
in the common room, working on Plan X of his different plans with the charcoal over the map.
Plan X. Okay.
He's worked through several plans.
Flying all over the map.
Ranquess told me before he
And none of them involve fire.
only 7 of them involve fire. Has planned out for every eventuality, but he's going to defer to Merkesh in the actual strategy.
Okay. Sound advice. Alright. Meeting's pending.
All right.
Fresh start to a new morning.
I grab a side of bacon and head outside to practice my forms.
Okay.
I grab a quick
Grab
drink
some
before we
cheesecloth
have
for
to
you.
go.
Okay. He says, the barmaid says,
You know what, we've got lots of these. If you just take it and bring it back, and you can take it on the road. It's not a big deal.
Wonderful.
But, they do count them, so bring it on back or I'll get in trouble.
Of course.
so you're making your way.
Yes.
Yep.
Shall we
Nice
go?
business. Sure.
Yeah.
So begin to wind down the footpath around this large oak. You see a couple of people from the trade landing now just peeling themselves off rocks where they've slept. There's empty wine skins and a
this
couple of mugs
reminds me
around.
of-
As some of them are still drunk from the night before, but the merchants are starting now to polish their wagons and clap their rugs, dust off their rugs, preparing to do their business for the day. As you make your way through the trade landing, yep.
Sorry, was that a long rest?
It was absolutely a long rest. Please
Okay.
take all the benefits of long rest, including your hit dice back and
yes,
full hit
everything's
points,
back. Okay, we're
and
good.
all your spell slots and yada yada yada. Make any changes to your spells that you require.
Did Little Miss Thing get enough time for a long rest after getting whacked to hell by a... Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely. This thing. That'll happen like late evening,
Yeah.
right? So not like deep night, but. And as you're walking by, making your way through the trade barkers. Hey, come check out these fine jewelry here, fresh.
There
And
goes
then,
the baker.
I start looking out for where the hell Belle's making
Three
arrangements
seconds
from.
for Bell.
And then you hear the side, just off to your left.
Day.
My word.
That's what's up.
Sorry, hold on.
My word, is that Hillrad?
No, it's not. Doesn't sound like that either.
War troopers.
My goodness, that is a fine piece of equipment. Where did you find such a fine piece?
And you look and you see a hefty,
Made this way.
gray-bearded human individual coming out from behind his wagon. And as you look over, you see this fine weaponry just hanging from stilts and rack on this makeshift merchant wagon. And he looks at you up and down, and he's eyeing the hilt that's peeking out from the black scabbard of your family blade.
You must let me have a look at that.
I reach back with one hand and pull out the black ebon blade, and then with a flourish, I hold its hilt first towards him.
My goodness.
He takes it closer.
We're gonna run away with it.
Very fine. You see the silver etching on this blade. To get the silver to set in the onyx and keep the onyx tempered so that it can withstand blow after blow. This is masterwork. Nothing short of a miracle, I would say.
Yeah. Allow me to. He kind of holds the blade handle down, blade down, handle up.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Cleese Garn, a master weaponsmith from the town of High Moon. And I have not seen work like this since I hit the road.
Well, Cleese, nice to meet you. I'll take my blade back.
Yes, of course. He just holds it. He's like, I would.
And I snap it out of his hands and
Magnificent.
right back into it.
Even the darkness of this ebon blade catches light from everywhere.
I would very much like to study that. Would you?
study this?
Yes. Would you do this old expert weapon crafter the benefit of but a few hours? A couple of hours, maybe.
Sure. So just scabbard and all, just
My
torn
word.
off. And where can I find you, Cleese? Not
I
letting
will
go of my
be
sword.
here, poring over this magnificent piece of equipment. You do me a very kind service, sir.
That's what she said. There you go, Cleese.
Excellent.
Perhaps.
And he runs his
Maybe
hand
yes,
up and down the
maybe you.
blade,
No.
around the amber set in the hilt.
Well, if he figures it out, maybe he can make me a dagger or something like this.
He looks at it.
Maybe.
He's like, I shall close my shop for these hours. This blade deserves my full attention. And he kind of
And
pulls it back.
when I come back, you'll show me your technique you're using for smithing, as I recently learned how to smith.
You have shared so much with me already, I would gladly share you a few tricks of my trade. Travel well, warrior. I didn't even get your name.
My name is Merkesh. My family, Al-Khadir, noted on the pommel of the weapon you hold right now.
Ah, Yes, and he runs his hand over the silver etching, spelling out your family name, leading to the crest, encircling the amber, and he says,
Two
I look
things.
forward to seeing the stories that this will tell.
Two things. It better be as sharp when I come back, and it better be clean.
The least I can do.
Intense.
Travel well, warrior.
Wear gloves.
Of course.
Still in mint
and
condition.
he gingerly lays it on a table, small iron flap behind his merchant wagon, as you begin to carry on towards the House of the Harp.
I feel so much better having one less weapon on me.
Do we
You
walk?
pass through a couple of barkers.
Sorry,
Yeah.
do we walk by the place where I was attacked last night at all? Do we walk near
Not
there?
really,
No, okay.
unless you're going there.
No. If we pass any bards or anything, I ask them if they've seen Al anywhere.
Roll an investigation check.
All right.
Alright. Might be good.
Oh no, that's a 1.
Okay.
Do you hear it? No.
She's
no.
like, Chyna just jumps up. The butler did it!
There are lots of bards around. You managed to capture the attention of a few, but none of them really offer you
I
any
don't see him
information
anywhere,
that is
obviously.
conclusive. And you definitely don't see him
Great.
kicking around.
Just want to know. Oh, we had a good
Do you
play.
make your way? Are you continuing on to?
No, I'm good. Yeah, let's
Okay.
keep going.
You pass through a few more barkers as you break through the threshold of the trade landing, and again you step onto that lush, welcoming grass undercarpet of the woods. As you see the multiple stone archway and the moss-covered entry to the House of the Harp. Large stone carvings of a harp outside. You know this drill now. You knock on the thick planks of the entrance. It opens up, and immediately Shalair appears before you. Welcome back. I trust Elventree is treating you well, as she flows almost in this fluid motion, and being the celestial being as she is,
Well,
her
it-
translucent body just says, "You know your way.
Oh god, it's the elevator thing again.
You are allowed to enter. Please."
Alright, thank you.
Well, this time I know to walk through a wall.
Okay.
And then on the other side of the wall, there's going to be a picture that has a harp on it that I'm going to walk up to and strum the strings of the harp on the painting.
Your finger brushes across old dry canvas. Allow me! Shalair pops up next to you. Requires a bard's touch. And she looks at you and she's like, "A special bard, dear." And she reaches her hand up to the canvas and she strums the painted harp.
Well,
Seems
at
to
least
glow
I'm not
for a
dead.
moment as it. She's like, I'm a few thousand years old.
Of course you are. I can
And she
see
sinks
it
back
in
into
your
the
face.
ground. As the
Let's go.
as the painting
This is what she
slides up
thinks.
into the ceiling again, revealing the as you walk through this chamber,
Toodaloo.
revealing the
I'm just
polished
glad I
cylinder.
hadn't eaten too much
You
bacon
enter.
because I hate this part.
Shoom! The painting slides down, leaving you in the darkened cylinder, and woof!
Thank
Again, you feel your stomach rise into your throat momentarily, deep into the earth. No idea how far you go until it stops. This vacuumous air inside, swallowing all sound, and shoom! It slides up to the top again, revealing it once again this kind of makeshift common / work area. Still fresh fire burning in the hearth. Meats and provisions being prepared and available, and other a variety of races going about their work, running to and from between the doors on the side. And the large council chamber stands open. Hilrad makes his way over to you with his staff. "Welcome, travelers. I trust your stay in Elventree has been productive.
Oh, very productive.
Some more than others, I hear.
What does that mean?
No matter. We have pressing business to attend to. Join us."
Why does no one ever tell me anything?
Some things just aren't meant to be told. Enter. Let's go.
As you make your way back through the familiar now area into the Council of Nine chamber, and you see the double doors open up. Hilrad leads you in. Now the table is fully populated. There are all the 9 chairs but one are taken. A small gray wolf sits in the back corner, just preening, but seems to watch you with knowing eyes as you enter the chamber. And of course, 6 stools laid out for you empty, Ranquess and Leon in tow.
Yeah.
Leon looks to you and says, well, I guess we're about as prepared as we can expect to be. Let's hope that the elders see fit to lend us their best support. I think we're in good hands here. Are we ready?
Well, yes.
I believe we
Yes.
are.
I've got the whole thing figured out. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I got an idea.
At least somebody knows what the hell's going
It's
on.
a little more complicated than Plan A.
As
So
you
let's
take
get
your take your seats around the table, this large oaken table with the large relief of the harp carved into it. You look around, you see the familiar faces of those who were here, the Circle of 9, before the first day that you arrived.
Time is of the essence. We must save the shades.
Garrick
Shut up,
sits at the
Ranquess.
head. Garrick sits at the head looking a little bit worn, a little bit tired, still wearing his splint mail.
Is there a seat next to him? I'll sit next to him.
No, you guys are at the facing end of the
Oh,
table.
I
He's
thought-
at the head.
All right.
To his right sits Hilrad. Garrick sits with a longsword perched on the floor, his wrist resting on the pommel. Shasa is closer to you guys. The high priestess of Saloon nods to you as you come in. Shia, your mother, fine, sitting at the table now, and she just beams as you walk in. A sense of pride overwhelming her, and Drin kind of pulls up a dagger and tips it towards you.
He's got a knife!
Spares a nod for all of you as you come in. Tyrin and Tiyun, the twins, are also seated at the table. They're wearing brown and green colors. They're wearing something different. They look like they're almost in camo suits, and their faces are smudged with dirt a little bit. Yes, and of course Hilrad steps up to take his seat to the right of Garrick. Garrick stands. He says, "All right, we all know why we're here. We'll call to accord the meeting of this council. Circle of 9 and Harper allies in tow." And they all bang on the table. "Friends, allies, today we welcome this team of stalwart, courageous warriors. They brought to us a need. The need to seek our assistance in helping 3 high-value Shadovar prisoners currently being held behind the walls of Hillsfar. These individuals have critical knowledge that leads to the fate of Thultanthar, possibly outlining the fall of the great city and the circumstances behind the fall of the city of Shadow. Today we've invited them to present to us their plans on how they choose to attempt this execution, in the hope that we can offer whatever support we have. If anyone is at odds with this request, speak now. Otherwise, we'll invite them to present their plot, their plan, and gain our assurance." And with that, the wolf trots forward, begins to form into the
Hey, Zal.
shape of Zal.
Hazel.
Welcome back, adventurers.
Thought I recognized you.
Some parlor tricks just have no merit anymore. It's the best I can do.
They wouldn't let me turn into a beholder inside the walls of
Good
I
idea.
hear that's a great one at birthday parties.
He's not very good with humor. And he takes a seat at the remaining empty slot. They all turn their eyes towards you.
So, out of character, through the magic of exposition, can we summarize, or you want us to go through it?
No, we're doing this.
Present your plans.
Okay. All right. So, Ranquess has been studying extensively, and he's confided in me that he has several plans. I think they're all terrible. My idea is, phase 1, we occupy the lighthouse, disable the lighthouse to gain us access to the harbor with no light. We then approach by water, access through the sewers, and get in that way. We need maybe 3 boats and 8 men.
Alright. A waterborne assault, Garrick speaks up, could make sense. Although we know of no weakness or otherwise point of opportunity from Hillsfar that would be waterborne. The lighthouse you speak of, is this Elua's lighthouse?
That's correct. It's the lighthouse that
It is not
mans the
something we would
channel.
have to occupy. They are friendly to us. We can consider them amongst our list of allies.
So
If
we
we
can-
need support from them. If we need to quench the light, they can do so, but safely. That light is critical to guiding ships and merchants through the Moon Sea to our shores. We'll have to have this conversation in advance. Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
With advantage. That means it could be. Oh no, the first one was way better. So the first one would have been persuasion 14. My second roll was.
Okay, Garrick looks at you and he says, I will see to it. I'll reach out to our contacts there and make sure that they're on side. We can take a look at them. If this is the option that you go with, we'll do what we can to secure the vessels.
Based on the research we've done, and I mean we've done aerial reconnaissance, where they have air cover. They had a patrol of 3-4 flying things flying around. The gate's heavily guarded. The walls are heavily patrolled. The only way we're getting in here is either by turning invisible and walking through the front gate, or we're coming in underground, or Operation Fifth Base, which is we go in where the waste comes out.
Yes, that's right.
Tyrion, Tiyun. Tyrion perks up. Tiyun signs something. In your navigation of the area, did you come up with anything that could produce such an opportunity? Tyrion looks at Tiyun and he says, "We were not able to get that far in. We scouted the patrols and we turned back for fear of giving away our position. We could easily take a trip back under cover of, or at least under the water, and take a look at the situation under there. We didn't try that. We only took a land approach." Garrick says, "Is your wish for more intel around waterborne approach?"
100%. I mean, that's the way we gotta go.
How would you go under the water?
Roll a persuasion check with advantage for me.
Okay, this time we're gonna use dice that don't suck.
Okay.
Natural 20. Here we go. That's 19 plus my persuasion is 22.
Oh, that's
Okay.
good.
Tyrion, Tiyun, they look at each other, they nod, they said, "It's worth the risk. We'll, if we can take our leave, we'll get to it now." Garrick calls up a hand, he's like, "I appreciate your exuberance.
Couldn't
Let's
Zal
see
just
where
turn
the
into a fish?
conversation goes." These two are druids as well.
Oh, okay.
They specialize in kind of shapeshifting and subterfuge. So it says, "But your account is noted. What else?" They look around the table.
We had a 10-day to rescue them 2 days ago, which means we have 8 days remaining until the execution or the arena. We haven't been able to recover any reconnaissance about that. We do know that there are sympathizers inside the walls with the Vault of Swords, and that we could gain some sort of what you call it, assistance or sanctuary from them.
Yes.
It's true. Our friends in the Vault of Swords, the Clerics of Tempest, would likely be eager to help us in this endeavor. Drin speaks up and he says, "Yeah, actually, said I've got some people on the inside. I can reach out to my folks at the Rogues Guild and see if we can get some information on when the execution is scheduled for it. It'll give us a better idea of timelines."
You're familiar with the Rogues Guild.
Absolutely.
If there's a Rogues Guild in Hillsfar, there's a way in and a way out that nobody knows about but the Rogues.
See what my network has to say.
Lean on them.
I mean, Learland's network is probably a little stronger. That's all going to lead underground. But let me check in and see what they've got. I can get an answer by the half day.
I'd say that's our best approach.
Do we have anyone that I know is a agent of Learland on the Council of Nine?
Drin says, "Lots. Myself included, for one." He said, "And Garrick, you know I expect to be part of this." "What do you mean? Explain yourself." "There's no way I'm letting them go into Hillsfar without me." "Drin, we talked about your escapades." "Garrick, I'm not asking you. I made this trip 100 times. Nobody knows Hillsfar better than I do. Except maybe Faerun. And all due respect, friend, memory might be a little rusty. We can do this, Garrick." Garrick nods. "We'll see where the cards lie. But your interest is noted, Drin." Looks a little unmoving at this point on that one.
We are also concerned we are not the most inconspicuous group in the world. There is the small matter of making it here to the Hillsfar area without us being spotted by the numerous troops on the road.
Is there any way we could arrange some kind of signal for a Griffin patrol, like a rendezvous point or a drop zone? Some way you could pick us up?
As Hillred strokes his majestic white beard, he says, "To be fair, I think we need to consider 3 angles. 1, the entry. As you mentioned, Tamasin. How do we get you in or even near Hillsfar without being seen? 2, the location and the collection of these high-value prisoners who I'm certain will not be left alone to graze. And 3, the removal and the extraction of both our team and the purported prisoners. How do we get you in unnoticed?"
Well, I think through the water approach through the sewers. That gets us in, unannounced. We then make a lot of noise breaking them out, and use a little misdirection. Cause we need some kind of distraction somewhere else in the city. Something else burning. I look over at Ranquess. Nudge, nudge. And then we, think that we're going left when we actually go right. And then we make our way towards the Vault of Swords. And then smuggle ourselves out of Hillsfar with the help of the priest of the Vault of Swords. They gotta be able to get us out of there.
Could be a valuable tactic. Garrick puts his hands on the table. He says, "Do not forget, while I commit our assistance to you, we will not do anything. We cannot do anything that could lead back to the Harpers or Elventree, or put our citizens at threat of war. To do so could be seen as an act of war."
Of course.
So why don't we just pin it on Thay?
It's easier said than done, my friend. Don't profess to outsmart the Red Wizards in their own backyard. This will be a small surgical strike, if at all. And that's not to presume that there is a water entrance. Hillsfar is heavily fortified and has been so over many millennia. The likelihood of finding that kind of loophole is slim. Not impossible. We'll leave that to Tyree and to you.
And
Do we?
through the front door might be our only recourse.
Well,
And how do you profess to get a group
perhaps.
full of elves and 1 human through the front door of
Well,
Hillsfar?
I'm not gonna help.
Have you the skills to do that?
But you're certainly not a human.
No.
Well, what if we knew something about the comings and goings through the front door? I'm sure there still must be some sort of...
Drin nods to you and he's like, "You still have any of your old tricks?"
It's been a while, but I think I might be able to whip out some disguises for us.
He leans back. "Garrick, we're masters of getting people out of Hillsfar. What's to say we can't get back in?"
I also can help with the disguising as well. Forgery.
Mm-hmm.
I can help with those type of things as well if needed.
So there's the option of disguise. A subtle front door entrance. Small team, less risky.
I mean, I
There
can
must
just
be lots of
make
traffic.
myself look like whatever I want.
Yeah, I'm not so familiar with, working with gnomish features, but I'm sure you can make...
Oh no,
fine.
I have a spell. I can make myself look like whatever I want.
Oh, very well.
Unless
You
there's
don't need
some
my help.
anti-magic kind of thing going on. there.
Hillred leans forward and says, "Fair point, Merkesh. If it were simple to simply teleport in and out, people would be doing it all the time. We do know this. Visitors to Hillsfar are screened very carefully. It would have to be a very convincing ruse. Be mindful of this. Visitors are also expected to check their weapons under peace bond. That might create an issue.
I could think of several
Be
reasons
mindful
why
of
that
these
would be a
things.
problem.
Markesh does not like the idea of peace bonding his weapons because
Well-
there's a lot of weapons.
Perhaps then we should wait to see what Tyrone and Hugh come back with the water entrance before.
Twins, Garrick looks at them. About your business. Get us this intel as quickly as possible. And they just kind of nod and they're out like almost in a blink of an eye.
Not that I enjoy the idea of going in unarmed, but if that comes to be our only course of action? Would there be a way to smuggle weapons into us if we were forced to abandon them at the door?
Drin raises an eyebrow. He says, we can definitely get creative. We get resources in and out, supplies all the time.
You just have to do a drop
Contraband.
from higher up.
Wait a minute. They also would probably get a lot of deliveries as well. Could we not smuggle ourselves in through crates?
Also a possibility. We got a lot of merchants in the house right now.
That would-
Misha. Let me talk to Misha. I happen to know someone who might be able to help us out.
All right. Who is this Misha?
She's a vendor of,
She's
of
a girl.
some
She has a
repute.
fondness for us.
Can
Mostly
she be
Merkesh.
trusted?
I would trust her with my life.
I would.
Not my wallet or my wife, but my life for sure.
She can generally be trusted.
As we know.
What other
She's
elements of
giving
your
us reason
plan
to
have you
help,
discussed?
She had those.
These are all
Yes,
good
well,
options.
I've had people who I didn't think
We also thought about provisioning for a number of reinforcements, an approach from the northern side, but the walls are too heavily patrolled, too well guarded, too well maintained. So we eliminated that possibility. The water approach made the more sense as the southern gate is very heavily fortified. I mean, if it were like Prince of Thieves, we'd go over the wall in a catapult, but that's not going to work.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit on the nose. Keep in mind, Hillsfar is a city that was designed to be impenetrable. I wouldn't recommend shooting you over the wall.
And then Ranquess smiles, an evil smile in that Ranquess way, and he's like,
Even in fireball form, Ranquess.
what about a plague?
Plague.
We start a plague in Hillsbrad, and that way everyone has to come out. Hillsfar.
Copyright.
Sorry, Blizz.
I think that pushes us dangerously close under the sensitive time frame we were working with. Until
Yes.
we hear back from
And
Drin's connection.
He seems
we won't even know.
seems
we don't
somewhat
want to
dejected
kill-
about that his plague idea was shot down. But he'll go on.
Don't look so sad. Keep it in mind. You never know.
We do. He's like, but a distraction. Nothing distracts them quite like a fire.
Fair point. Make it subtle if that has to happen. Let's call that a ripcord.
So we don't want to hurt anyone that
He seems
is
confused
innocent
by the
and we
word
don't
subtle in the sense
have
of
to hurt.
fire.
I'm sure there are many innocent people living within Hillsfar that need not be part of getting injured in all this.
We have no desire to start a war with the walled city either.
It's a simple extraction, not a simple extraction. But we're extracting people. We're not looking to start an all-out battle.
But we know No T is looking to burn as many people as
Of
possible.
course.
He's got problems.
We'll have to keep our eye on him.
Yes.
What would we rank with?
We will send word to our contacts, the battle guards of Tempest in the Vault of Swords. Make sure that they know to keep their eyes open for any activity, any movement of these prisoners. Drin, I will reach out to your network. We need an idea of time frame so we understand
Well, there's also
what we're working with.
one other option that I just thought of. Because I'm such a brilliant strategic military mind.
Don't keep us in suspense.
What if we were to waylay a patrol of red plumes and take their armors and then wear those armors as a costume to walk right through the front door?
Well, I'm not going to fit in that.
No, not you. You could go in like a basket we're carrying or something.
Wonderful. That's exactly how I would like to go
Well, you
in.
could
In
be
a
a-
basket.
Prisoner.
Well, really, prisoner. I mean, you could go fight in the arena.
Just risky.
We could go fight in the arena.
Okay.
You would have to be
I'm not
captured
going in a
yourselves.
basket.
I'm
And I'm not going as
fighting
a
in the
prisoner.
arena.
Remember, I am just here to tell your stories.
Or we go back to Plan H and we get the bands of troubadours to wander through the gates. We bring the party to Hillsfar.
I-
Ain't no party like an Elventree party because an Elventree party gets us right through the gate.
Hillsfar is not inclined to allow entire bands of troubadours through the front door.
No.
While that
Especially
is
for
not a
infantry.
terrible idea, not as bad as burning down Hillsfar. I don't see that working, all due respect. I think you're on a roll. It seems as though our best option... We have a waterborne option. I will reach out to the Port Authority and make sure that the docks are cleared. We'll contact our network at Elua's lighthouse and make sure that they understand what's happening as well. We'll see that any merchant ships or passing innocents will be secured and safe on the Moon Sea during this time. If we are to extinguish the lighthouse, it will have to be very controlled and it must be short. Otherwise, we risk the peril of countless others on the water. Tyree and Tiyun should be back at some point today with intel on the underwater areas, outlining the cliff of Hillsfar. If there's an option there, we'll bring it to your attention. We'll get word to you. Drayden, Captain, do your worst with your network. Contact the Rogues Guild inside of Hillsfar. We need a timeline on the execution, and we need to know how the prisoners are being transported. He said, if I can go, I'll get started now. Take your leave. Trin stands up, nods at you. He says, we'll connect when I get back.
Okay.
And he just turns around and leaves. Hillred, anything else? No. I think we've covered most of our bases. However, be mindful. Magic, anything abrasive in nature, is likely to jeopardize the entire mission. They are very careful around the aura of magic in Hillsfar, which is why we will not be able to help you once you are out. Once you enter the walls of Hillsfar, you are on your own.
That's when they disavow all knowledge of our heading over there. And my style. Okay.
See us before you take your leave for Hillsfar. Give us till noon to gather whatever else, other intelligence we can.
But we strike tonight.
If that is your choice.
Well,
I think under the cover of First Dark might be wise.
All right. If the information gets back by then I guess that's...
They'll be back by noon.
By noon? Well...
The twins are fast.
Well, yes, that would be fast.
They have the advantage of being able to change into a flying form.
Right.
I see their reputation
Can't do that
precedes
yet.
them. Zal looks at you and he says, I rest assured our children are well equipped to do this type of work.
I'm sure.
Well, then.
So then that
Then if
leaves
we are
us
alive-
with a very short amount of time to wrap up any montage of equipment we want to get in Elventree.
Well, I have some things I want
And
to
then
do
hit the
still
bricks.
while I'm here.
You have hours, champions. I suggest we adjourn then. Leave us to our work and we'll leave you to yours.
Very well.
Good
Thank
day.
you for your assistance.
Shasta stands up and she puts a hand on your arm. She says, dear child, you should know we were able to contact Mahada last night. We sent a missive to her. She was on her way to Elventree post-haste.
Vada's coming here.
She is. I thought that would delight you. A small ray of sunshine in this dark time.
That's
of ours.
excellent news, yes.
She may take days. I'm not sure how long the travel will be, but I wanted you to know that she is inbound.
Well, I'm very glad for that news, thank you.
You're very welcome, child. She stands up, long, flowing, silvery white linens trailing behind her as she exits the room. So the rest of them stand up, begin to file out of the council chamber. Garrick walks over to you, and he takes your hand. He says, I must rest now, but know that you are always being watched here. You have your pin,
I do.
signifying your allegiance with the Harpers.
I do.
Whittle, Dottie, the two small humans kind of make their way over. Yes, and they're beaming at you. They're fans of yours. He looks at them and he says, I think it's time we make this official, yes? Say yes. Very well. Then it is my responsibility and my pleasure to welcome you to the ranks of the Harpers.
Oh.
If you will accept, of course.
Well, yes, of course I will accept, especially from you, Garrick. I will accept anything.
Then I will take your existing pin. He holds his hand.
Oh, excellent.
You're being inducted. You guys are getting inducted
And he puts
to the Hall of
he
Art.
presses
No?
a new pin into your palm. Very well
me.
made, beautifully crafted. He holds it and he holds your hand for a moment. He says, once per sunrise, this will allow you to contact Shadovar. She will let us know if there's anything pressing that you need to get to us. Use it sparingly. Beyond that, this pin will identify your allegiance to the Harpers. Anywhere you go in Faerun.
Thank you, Garrick.
Be safe.
Still have
This is
matters to discuss before this evening.
Stay a while. We will tie off that business. The rest of you, they kind of nod on their way out as they're filing out, and they kind of, good luck. With the few remaining hours before you have to steel yourself to make your way through whatever plan formulates, what do you do? What do you want to do in these next few hours?
I think what I'd like to do is go back to the temple because I am aware of how important what we're about to do is, and I don't want to be distracted by anything. I want to make sure that I am as connected with my goddess as possible.
Okay. You take your leave. Tamasin begins to make her way to the Silver Shadow Cave. Fine.
I'm going to visit my grave site that I have for Faerun. And just let him know that, his mom's not doing well, so I'm going to go visit her and see how she's doing, and, let him know that I haven't forgotten, and that, with his help, I'll be able to right many wrongs this trip. So, yeah.
Merkesh, feeling pumped up that he's such a brilliant strategical mind who came up with not only one or two, but 7 different plans in a very short term. Is kind of wondering what the hell this Cleesgarn is doing with my weapon, so I'm making my way back over to the weapon shop after I make sure that you are going to keep an eye on her. Keep an eye on her. I'm not telling you which her.
Did Garrett say...
Keep an eye on her.
Very well.
Garrett say just discuss later? Because if he just said
stay
later...
a while.
Oh, he said stay a while. Okay, alright.
Okay. So you make your way off to find Cleese in the trade landing. And once the room empties, Hilred says, "You should really rest, my friend. I will be sure to, Hilred. I appreciate your concern. The Bard and I have matters to attend to." "All right. I'll leave you to it." And he goes out, closes the door behind him. Garrick sits next to you. "Now,
Yes.
care to explain what I'm getting myself and my people into?"
Remind me again how much you know?
Hmm?
Remind me again how much you know?
I know what you told me. You told me about Marmac.
Yes.
You told me about the Deep Gnomes. You told me about the threat to your
I
life.
can't
Yes.
believe she's telling a
Outstanding
stranger
threat to her
about all
legacy.
this stuff.
Yes.
Not us there.
You told me that you were seeking sanction here, and I agreed to provide it.
Yes.
How deep
Ranquess didn't.
do
He's
these
still there
threads
watching.
go? How deep into the Underdark are we talking?
I
Have you
don't...
any idea?
I don't know. I did not even know that he was after me.
What else has attacked you?
Well, there's been a few drows. There were some other, before we were at here, there were 4 drows, I believe, that attacked me.
And a couple there are.
And yes, and there were more Duragard that also attacked before.
Why are they after you? Those Druagar, if they wanted to
Catch
kill you,
reward.
they wouldn't be trying to drag you into the woods. They wanted you alive. To what end?
Huh. Well, I'm not quite sure, actually. I'll be completely honest. I haven't been home in a very long time. I was a very young girl when we left. Suddenly.
Why are they after you in the first place? Duragar don't act this way. They
Well,
rarely come to the
I'm
surface.
assuming there
Nor
was...
do Drow.
No. Modak wants me dead, I thought.
Do you have any other evidence?
Evidence from him?
Anything?
Other than what we've...
relates to this situation?
Well, I mean,
And what the hell's a shade?
he...
You don't know that yet. I don't know that yet.
Perhaps you should gather your thoughts and we should
No.
reconvene.
It's
They've
fine.
explained it, like,
I
5
just not
times.
sure.
Just look at
I'm
each other
sorry,
again.
out of character. I'm not sure what you're trying to ask right now, honestly.
Do you have anything else? Do you have evidence?
City and
Anything from these Drow?
Well, I have pictures that they drew. They have wanted photos out for me.
So
One
it's
of
a
my
bounty
friends
then.
has another one. Yes, it is. They had this one, which was not a very, as you can see, it's not. I'm much better looking in person.
He ignores the terrible drawing and points immediately to the sigil in the top right-hand corner. Have you seen this before?
You have.
Have you seen this before?
Yes.
Where?
Back in town at the pub where my parents were murdered.
Then it could lead us to the creator, to the person.
This
possibly this Marduk.
It's his. I'm fairly certain that is his sigil.
Can I keep this?
You may. I mean, my friend has a better drawing, the same one, but you can keep this one.
Same symbol?
Yes.
This will do.
All right. It's not a very good remembrance.
You're a Harper agent now.
Yes.
We strive for justice. We strive for balance. We strive for security, the protection of the innocent.
Yes.
That includes our agents. You're one of us now. We'll do our best to protect you from this threat. Keep your eyes and your ears peeled. You will be distracted with the task at hand in the coming days. I don't want you to let your guard down for a second.
I don't. Keep in mind, I join with groups to stay off the radar. I can move from group to group when I please.
Fair. And I've seen your handiwork. I worry less about you, but I would still be forlorn if anything bad were to happen
Now,
to you.
I would prefer if you keep this between us and not tell my companions, as I see no need to endanger their lives further as well. Morak will go to any means to get to me, knowing my past and knowing my lineage.
The details are not mine to share. Understood.
Thank you, Eric.
I'll rest now.
Distance of Merkesh howls.
As you make your way through the trade landing back towards
I'm going
Cleese's...
to make my way to see Zook. I'm just
Head
saying
out to
that.
Zook?
Yeah.
Okay, at the Halls of the Unicorn.
Yes.
Make your way through the trade landing, and you see Cleese looks up as you approach, and his grin just almost stretches the full width of his face. Welcome back! Oh, I have spoken to this magnificent blade, and she has told me her secrets. This is fine craftsmanship, but of course you know that already.
No.
Finer than many I have seen. It will give you a +1. Keep this close. I would like to have a little more time to study it, though. There's something else in the blade as I was working through this master craft. A yearning. Something for this blade is missing, and I can't determine beyond that, but there is this thirst. Not of any diabolical or ulterior means, but just something missing.
Have you tried stabbing something with it?
No. I make these tools.
Okay, because last time I did that, I felt great.
Fantastic. Then I suggest you keep up with that trend. However, if I were able to see the blade in my workshop with my own tools in High Moon, then I could easily unravel her deepest secrets.
And what guarantee do I have, Cleese, that you don't just take my sword and wander off into the sunset?
I would welcome you to bring it to me yourself, my boy.
Bargained well and done. Now about those weaponsmithing lessons we were talking about.
Ah, yes, step behind. No, move on. We're closed for the day. Let us work, my friend. And he steps behind, he takes you behind, and he teaches you, he begins to talk to you about, specifically using this blade, about the etchings of silverwork. And you spend the next, let's say, hour or so talking about the theory of silvering and the theory of these flourishes and weaponry to make a weapon look exotic and beautiful, but still highly functional. And through it, you begin to get an understanding of the very basic early entry-level theory about silvering a particular type of weapon. And he just kind of talks to you about theory. He says, again, if you were to visit me at my shop in High Moon, I believe that we could share many secrets, stories, and tales. We could probably round out that knowledge of your own. Have you a leaning towards the smithing arts?
Yes. I'm somewhat of a novice myself, recently having become proficient in the smithing tools.
Ah!
Wonderful. I feel as though the gods have put us together today. You must visit me in High Moon when you have the availability.
Well, my path leads me to other locations ahead of that. What I will do is I will entrust this blade to you until that time that I meet you in High Moon.
You would leave the blade with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
My friend, you do me an enormous service. I'm thrilled at this today. This could make my whole trip here should I not sell another piece of anything.
2 conditions.
Name them.
1,
Yes.
do not show the crest on that the hilt of this
Yes,
blade
okay, no
to
showing.
anyone.
Yes, no.
And 2nd,
Yes.
keep it clean.
Done and done. It shall scarcely leave my side, friend, and he hugs the blade close. I look forward to meeting you again in High Moon. Cleese Master Weaponsmith. You will find me there.
Bargained well and done.
He just gazes at the blade in his hand as he backs in towards his cart.
Out of character, I have not established any type of bond with the weapon I stole from my brother's dead body yet.
As you make your way up to the temple, you're meditating. Still good meditating.
the thing.
Is there anything else that you wanted to do in the few hours, equipment-wise? We can do a quick shopping
I've got
montage.
healing potions.
Preparation-wise.
I'm pretty well good.
Okay.
I don't.
And these will be the few hours leading up to noon when you get an update from both Drin,
Yeah.
Tiyun,
As soon as I'm done smithing, I head over to the temple and hang out outside waiting for it.
Okay. Make your way up to the
Carry
halls
your
of the
books.
Unicorn. And as you ask a few people for directions, actually managed to run into Whittle and Dottie, and they walk up with you, and they
Great.
say, Dottie says, "We have a treat for you.
Oh, you do?
Something special.
Oh, I love surprises.
I'll let Zook tell you all about it.
Wonderful.
I don't want to
I'm
ruin
so
the
excited to
surprise.
see
You've
Zook.
already said too much,
Oh.
Whittle.
They kind of guide you up towards the halls of the Unicorn, and this is these vaulting, beautifully carved wooden arches. As you walk in, it's this lush garden, almost like a bubble existing far away from anything else. Fountains shooting off the air, a small river, crystal blue
I'll
and
just stay
clear
here.
cold, runs around the circumference of this beautiful shrine. The largest, by any means, largest structure of anything you've seen in Elventree, dedicated to the forest goddess Maliki. Zal nods as you enter, and he says, "You've got quite an excited visitor."
Oh, do I?
And as you walk into the center, you see this furious, yellow, sparkling trail as Zook whirls around, zips towards you,
Hello,
flies
Zook.
in and out, in through your arms, through your legs, around your head, whipping your hair.
Oh, you're so
And
cute.
he looks at you and he's just... Whittle and Dottie just kind of step back.
Let you get reacquainted.
Wonderful. Oh, so I cast message towards him so I can speak with him.
I'm so happy to see you.
I'm so happy to see you too, Zook. I was so excited. I can't believe you're here. I just was the best news ever because I didn't know I'd see you again. You're just the cutest little thing.
My day.
Oh, good. I'm so gonna make you my day too.
Which
I've had
one?
a
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
night last night, so
I understand you have a daunting task ahead of you.
yes.
Actually, Dottie, Whittle, and I have something for you.
You do,
Come with me.
of course.
He leads you further into the center of this shrine, and as you walk in, there's almost like a small grove, a small stand of hedgework that bends in a circle, and in the center a small rock covered with a white linen cloth.
He's a little fairy. Yes.
Yes, you need
Zook
to inhale
spins
it.
around the rock a few times, lifting the edges of the linen cloth. Dottie looks at you. She says,
Go ahead, child.
All right. Okay. It's cute to keep calling me child. You're so adorable.
"Way older than you are."
Yeah.
All right. I go up to it.
Okay. As you peel back this fine linen cloth, it reveals a small pedestal made of stone. And on the pedestal is this beautiful, intricate bamboo pan flute.
Oh.
It has gold inlaid brackets that are holding the pipes together. It's about this big. Zook responds back to you through the message spell that you cast, and he says, "We had this fashioned after our meeting at the Spring of Blessed Life. She is called."
Think about it. Take your time.
She is called Whisper of the Forest Queen.
Ooh. It's absolutely beautiful.
The finest. It will make beautiful music. And if you are in need, the Forest Goddess has given me permission to join you as long as you are within the boundaries of her blessed forest, anywhere in Faerun.
So if I use this, you will come.
If the Forest Goddess will allow, I will come to you.
That's wonderful. I'm sure we could use your help in future, Zook. This is a wonderful present. Thank you so much.
Like I need to help
Whips
find
around
the pits.
you.
And I grab him a little bit and I hold him and give him a little hug.
That very dragon.
Try
I
it.
don't.
Try it. I would love to hear you play.
Oh, of course. Well, let's.
Performance check it.
Roll a performance
Oh.
check before you touch that thing.
13 only. It's fine, alright?
As you lift the pan flute to your
This
lips,
is a pan. Imagine it's a pan flute.
Zook looks at you expectantly. Okay, good. It has to be less than 30 seconds or we have to pay for it. And with that, Zook dissipates and pops up in front of you, whipping around the same yellow light.
Are you okay? Are you alright?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh!
Wow. That was beautiful.
Oh, listen to your cute little voice now.
You can hear me.
I can. Oh my god.
The Forest Queen has blessed us both. I'm so happy. And he whips around.
Aw.
Dottie just claps her hands, and Whittle just kind of. Looks like you've made a friend for life now.
I hope so.
All right. Whip around, and they just kind of gather around you,
Very
happy to be
dragon.
back together again.
Sure.
Fun as you
Excellent.
relay this heartfelt tribute to your fallen friend. And you rise from your solemn place that you've allocated for Theron's memory. What next? What do you do with your few hours before noon? Let's say.
So I am fully stocked of darts, of my new weapon, rest. I'll check in with my parents before I make our leave.
They welcome you as always with open arms and bliss, but it's a little melancholy this time, and Shia puts her hand on her face again. She says, I know what you must do, my child. You go with Lillian's grace. I am excited for your reunion with her. Give her our best.
I will.
I said it before and I mean it. Do come back to me. She just chokes up a little bit. Hemo comes to her side and puts his hands on her shoulders.
I'll see you again.
Yes. Make us proud.
I will.
They kind of tie you up. They don't tie you up. They gently tie you up. They tie up a cheesecloth bag with some nuts and rations for the road, some bandages, things like that. Just a little care package to see you off. He says, it's not much, but I think you probably have better equipment to see you through this job. At least we can keep your belly full.
I
I'm
believe
gonna
you,
miss.
that will be most
I miss
helpful.
the food.
Thank you. Love you both.
We love you too, son. best to Lyrlin. May she make it through this as well.
This is my hope as well. Yeah, thank you.
I don't know who the hell was the genius who was organizing meals, but you guys had me eating friggin' berries for 2 days.
And Merkesh, you're chilling by the temple, waiting for Tamasin to emerge.
Thinking about food.
Thinking about food. As you go about the rest of, let's do a quick kind of round the table, equipment-wise, you have access to a number of things, and you wanted to talk to Misha as well.
Yeah. I did. So if Misha's around, I'd be
She is.
Da-da-da-da-da.
You find Misha's wagon easily. A pretty good gathering around her. And she looks up at you. Merkesh, Merkesh, Merkesh. To what god divine intervention do I owe this pleasure today?
No shiny baubles today, Misha. Just
break my heart.
a proposition. We have some urgent business that takes us within the walls of Hillsfar.
I see.
And we're wondering if you would happen to have any business in Hillsfar. Because maybe if you're heading in that direction, we could work together.
Often. I have business in Hillsfar quite often, darling, but
In the next day?
Well, I prefer to see my affairs out here in Elventree. It's been quite profitable. What do you need exactly, and why would you want to be caught anywhere near Hillsfar, darling?
A friend of mine made some commitments inside Hillsfar to enact a bit of a rescue attempt for some of his friends. And I was wondering if we could enlist your aid in getting inside the walls. Once we're inside the walls, we go our separate ways.
Merkesh, I value your business greatly, and I think we've built this beautiful friendship.
Sounds like a no.
But you understand what you're asking me to risk, my dear.
I'm only asking you to put your relationship, your business, and your life in peril. What would you do?
I'd prefer not to hang at the noose for you, my love. Don't get me wrong, you're sweet, and you
That's
have a
fair.
charming face,
And
and I'm not going to die.
Had I fully thought about it before approaching you, I could have saved us both some time.
Well, maybe next time.
Until next time, Misha. And I give her a vivacious wink as I walk away.
It's like, it's a strange boy.
So not the best idea. Because, you know,
You tried. We appreciate that.
maybe. Meanwhile, Ranquess is back behind
She
the inn
appreciates
setting
you
fires to
letting
things.
her off the hook so easily.
Fire things.
All right. So that
Well, no, I
particular
mean,
option, but
but just doing the math as a risk versus reward for her, there's no way it comes to be a win for her.
do an intelligence check.
I will do an intelligence check, which is with my intelligence modifier a 17.
Okay. Because you do have some stratego, you realize that you are asking. So you were asking her. You didn't really ask her anything. But you kind of suggested that you wanted her help to enter Hillsfar. You didn't really pursue the cart, and there's nothing to say that she would have to be with you.
Oh, that's true. I could just steal the cart. Borrow the cart. But I would need her sigil. I mean, I'd need some type of paperwork.
Giving you all the freebies you're going to get. I do feel like you let her off a bit.
I'll just put the screws through her next time.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna conclude with Misha and head back to try and secure as many provisions of meat that I can
Okay.
before we hit the road.
We'll see you all stocked
Sick
up
of
on
fucking
rations.
berries.
Fun as you're walking back, you're checking the balance on this beautiful staff. Just kind of getting acquainted, taking stock of your wares. Tamasin, you rise feeling fully and wholly endowed with the blessing of your goddess. Your mind is clear. The visions come and go, but they are just that for now. A little clear as well. Chyna, you've got this beautiful flute that you've taken as a gift from Zook, Dottie and Whittle, as you leave the halls of the unicorn.
Did we ever get Leon a shirt?
Leon's now enrobed again in his gray
Alright.
robes of the Shadovar. As you begin to tie off your affairs and complete your errands, get re-equipped, restocked with rations, say your farewells to those who are your parting company with for a short period of time, hopefully, and begin to make your way back to the House of the Harp for an update, and to begin to steel yourself for the plan that will ultimately see you, hopefully, beyond the walls of Hillsfar.
Or dead on the walls of it.
But we'll have to wait till next session to find out how that goes.
Tune in next time on Charisma Check TPK.
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. That's going to lead us up to whatever is in store for the party as they make their way to their ultimate goal of Hillsfar and hopefully the security and extraction of these high-value Shadovar prisoners. Next week, Ranquess will not be with us as well, but he'll be with us in story and spirit. We wish him definitely a happy opening tomorrow night for his show.
Yeah.
And hope to see you all back here on Thursday, 7 Eastern, 3 hours before Critical Role. So definitely check us out. Follow us on Twitter, follow the channel.
Yeah.
Much appreciate your follows on the Twitch channel as well. We're trying to push towards our follower goal. And hope you had a great time tonight. If you have any questions or any thoughts, we will jump into the chat again. I'll pop that up really quickly, and we'll have some back and forth because we love to hear what you guys think and have some conversation with you. So otherwise, that's a wrap for us tonight. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye, stream.
Thanks.